rivalry in all of Canadian college football. The McGill Redmen, the Queen's Golden Gaels. The two schools first met way back in 1884, and since then, they have battled for supremacy 173 times. Throughout the battles, there are a number of great names that took part, such as Montreal Alouette Michael Souls. He was the heart and soul of McGill's only Vanier Cup winner back in 1987. And then there's the legendary coach Frank Tyndall, who stormed the Queen sidelines for nearly 3 decades. So far this season, the two schools have split their 2 regular season meetings. But that means little now. And for the 14th time in postseason play, the two foes will lock up with the winner going on to the Dunsmore Cup next week. It's McGill and Queens. The rivalry continues next.
Second decade of university sports coverage, TSN proudly presents CIAU football.
It's a mild November day, but a little bit of rain for this O-QIFC semifinal game once again between the McGill Redmen and the Queen's Golden Gaels, live from Kingston. And Halloween may be over, not quite over. This is actually standard attire for the many fans who show up to Queen's Golden Gael games. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Richardson Stadium in Kingston. I'm Rod Smith. For us, with November, our road to the Vanier Cup begins in earnest. And once again, it begins with 2 great rivals, the McGill Redmen, the Queen's Golden Gaels. They met in the O-Q semifinals last year in Montreal. McGill won it 19-9 to move on to the conference final. One of many games these two teams have played in a storied rivalry. And you see it goes back to the last century, and you see that Queens holds the edge. But the really interesting statistic is they haven't lost a playoff game here in Kingston in 35 years, the 1962 Yates Cup. But Queens head coach Bob Howe says, hey, none of that matters now.
Yeah, I think you can kind of throw that stuff out the window. I mean, everything's kind of equal in terms of the way we look at things anyways. I mean, hopefully that's the way it's going to work out, but we can't really look at stats.
And joining us again is Jamie Bowen, our analyst for the umpteenth year. It's almost 10 years now. Great quarterback with the Western Mustangs a few years ago and a former Heck Crichton Trophy winner. Well, speaking of quarterbacks, maybe that's the biggest difference in how these two teams match up this year and last, specifically McGill.
Well, McGill, for the first time in 20 years, they have a rookie starting a quarterback for him. But Charlie Bailey says, unlike any other rookie, this guy has poise, he has quick feet, and a live arm.
Dana Toering had been their starting quarterback, but this rookie really impressed. Now, as for the other quarterbacking situation, Bo Howe's for Queens, Dustin Falsher as well. They kind of split the duties last year, but it is strictly Bo Howe's this time around.
Well, Bo Howe is the undisputed leader of this football team and also the second leading passer in the nation, so that tells you where he stands. And when he's not chewing up yardage through the air, he's handing it off to one of the best backs in the O-QIFC. That's John Thielen, the second leading rusher in the conference.
Now, Queens has the home field advantage because they finished at the record of 6-2, McGill at 4-4. But really, they have been pretty close teams throughout the season, and it is a very difficult conference to predict. The rain has been coming down a little bit. If the field is slick, how do you think that affects these two teams?
I don't think the field is really going to be a factor. This is the best field I've seen at Queens here since all the years I've been doing these games. It's in excellent condition. As long as they keep the ball dry, it shouldn't be a factor.
It's a playoff Saturday here on TSN. The winner of this game will take on Concordia or Ottawa U in the Dunsmore Cup next week. We'll have the opening kickoff here at Richardson Stadium right after this. Don't go away.
CIAU football on TSN, brought to you by Cavalier, tried, tested, and true. And by Royal Bank Financial Group, taking care of financial needs one customer at a time.
Should the skies cooperate we've got a great day for football. Overcast and fairly mild for the first day in November. The band trying to keep the water off the instruments. 13 degrees with a slight breeze from the northeast and a very nice natural grass surface here in Kingston. And Charlie Bailey, a longtime head coach, the McGill Redmen in his 26th season, national champions back in 1987. His counterpart, Bob Howes, in his third season, his second as the full-time head coach of the Gaels, taking over for another great coaching figure, Doug Hargraves, for the Queens Golden Gaels. Bob Howes, they call him Bo, and Bo Howes happens to be the name of the quarterback, his son, in this game. And you see the blue jerseys for the Gaels. First time this year they've had anything but gold, playing it at home and playing it now. Dan Coderre with a kickoff. It falls short and is taken just over the 25-yard line. McGill running it back just over the 35. They'll have good field position to scrimmage from. And that was number 36, Mark Freer, with the football on the return on the short kick. So here comes David McKinnon. You heard Jamie Bone talk about him before. This guy seems pretty poised for a freshman.
Hey, if you take a look at the stats, Rod, even though he has 9 interceptions and 4 touchdowns, Charlie Bailey would like to reverse that, but he said he's had his baptism by fire this year, and they've asked him to do a lot of things, and he's responded admirably. They say he has great poise when he sits in the pocket.
1st and 10, McGill from their own 37. They run the ball up the middle. Short yardage just over the 40-yard line.
And this is the kind of situation that Charlie Bailey does not want to get himself into, where it's 2nd down and long.
The offensive setup for McGill.
Say McKellar and Posthumus are the wide receivers, Luchetta, Lukey at slot back, Freer and Pronick the running backs, and David McKinnon, the rookie quarterback.
As far as up front goes, the name to look at there, number 50, Samir Shaheen. He was a center last year, an All-Canadian, one of the best O-linemen in all of Canadian university football. A 2nd and long situation now. Call it 8. Just from the 40-yard line. McKinnon back. Can't find anybody. Scrambles out of it to the right, and he'll take off. Gets close to first down yardage, but he'll be about a yard shy. Looks like the Redmen will be punting after their first drive.
And if there's one problem that they say that maybe David McKinnon has, and he said he's a little bit on the smaller side. He's only 5'9". Take it back here. He hasn't got very good vision right here. He can't see the receiver. Now what he does, he gets flushed out of the pocket. Queens do a real good job of shifting over, making sure that he doesn't get the first down, and wisely McKinnon goes down but takes that knee into the head.
McKinnon getting the start this year after a couple of unimpressive performances by Dana Toring, who got the start in the playoff game last year. Had been their incumbent, but is the backup in this game. Bentley Harris will stand back to kick it. Ranked 9th in the CIAU in punting with an average of 37.8. And will kick into a slight breeze from the northeast in this one. Booting it off at about his 35, and you see it get picked up a little bit actually in the breeze and taken down at the 25-yard line for the Gaels. A 41-yard punt and a short return for Ryan Timms. So now Bo Howes, as mentioned, the son of Bob Howes, the head coach of this team, going to work. This is 3rd year and a very productive year in terms of passing yardage.
He's had a great year. He's 2nd in the nation in passing. And one thing that's really, I find amazing about this Queens offense, and Steve Jovicic, their offensive coordinator, has done a great job. They have changed from a running team to a passing team literally overnight. They've done it in one season and have been very successful in doing it.
And this school has had a long history of running the football. That is quite a change, and they do run it this time. And it's Big John Thielen up over the 30-yard line. Short yardage for the Gaels. Make it about 5.
And if you're tuning in and you're wondering, you're hearing John Thielen, you're saying, where is Paul Coryell? He is out with an injury. As we take a look at the running backs, John Thielen, number 25, Chris Robin at running back. Great receivers. Chris Gear at the wideout. 6th in the nation in pass receiving. Timms, Taylor, and Carlisle at tight end.
And up front, Barrett Fruiter, the new center of that team. Al Hull, Rob Chalmers moving over to right tackle. He had been playing at guard this year. Check that 2nd and 8. They try to throw, but it falls incomplete. That was for Matt Carlisle, the 2nd-team All-Canadian last year, but couldn't hang on to the football.
And sorry, Rob, that's one that Matt, I'm sure, wants to have back. You know, you have to use your hands when you're catching the football there. He let the ball bounce off his body. It was a good delivery by Bo Howes, and it forces Queens into a punting situation.
And standing back at about his 17-yard line is Dan Coderre, also handling the kicking duties and also a cornerback with this team. His average just 32.9 on the season, and this won't improve the average very much. A low spiral taken by Craig Borgeson and gets it up near the midfield mark. So once again, McGill will scrimmage with good field position. 33-yard punt and a 7-yard return for the McGill Redmen. They'll have the ball again for their second drive when we come back. CIAU football on TSN. David McKinnon getting set for McGill's second drive of the game and starting just over their own 53-yard line for McGill.
And Charlie Bailey told us before this game that he wanted to take pressure off his young quarterback and try to establish the run game early, but Queens has been superb against the run this year, so it's going to be a real tough sledding for McGill this afternoon.
And they've been good at putting pressure on the quarterback in passing situations. They talk. Dan Pronick fumbles it and gets it back, but he won't gain a thing, maybe even lose a half yard.
Derek Strong making the tackle on Pronick.
And it was Derek Spronk in on the tackle, but the trouble began as soon as he dropped the football. Up front, a couple of great ones in James Osborne and Jim Maru on the left side of that Queens line, both second-team All-Canadians last year. Osborne nominated for All-Canadian this year.
And it's a very good secondary, Rod. They've got 16 picks amongst them with the rookie in there, James McLean, Kurzanowski, Moravsky, Coder, and Rennie. And the one guy you don't see there is Andrew Tousley. He's a 6 DB who leads the nation in interceptions with 6.
Flags on the play. Looks like early movement, and they've got him all wrapped up. Carl Rasmussen sacks McKinnon, a loss down to the 45 of McGill, but let's see if they decide it was Queens offside or McGill drawing them off.
Offside, defense, 5 yards, down repeated.
At the top of your screen, you can see Jim Maru, number 45. Came off just a little bit early, and once you're in that neutral zone, the official's going to throw the flag immediately. And Rasmussen's sack goes for naught.
And a good break for McGill now, moving it up to a 2nd and 5.5 situation. And a shotgun formation for McKinnon. Throws off to his left. It's got Andy Lucetta. And he'll have first down yardage up over the Queens 45. Into Gale territory now, and a first down McGill.
That's a real nice job by McGill right now. They're running a little slip screen to Andy Lucetta, or Lucetta as he likes to be called now. Andy Lucetta was a quarterback here 3 years ago. Graduated and went to taught for 2 years. Again, they just wait till everybody clears out. They bring Lucetta underneath, and he does a real nice job of running with the ball here. He was a receiver for 3 years at McGill. Then they made him quarterback in his last year. He's been out teaching in the school system for 2 years. Came back to do his master's in education. He's back playing wideout.
And Craig Borgeson on the toss, right side. It's all wrapped up by James McLean, who throws him back to about the 45. His progress will give him just a couple of yards.
And Craig Borgeson is somebody they're hoping on can have a big game for McGill this afternoon. Primarily a wide receiver. He's the fastest player in this McGill football team, and they have him in a tailback. He's been injured the last 2 weeks with a groin problem. They try to run the toss outside. Looks like he's getting around the corner clean here, but a great job by the linebacker coming up here and making a great play. And James McLean, the rookie at safety, coming up and finishing him off.
McLean had an interception for a touchdown against McGill in his first game. CIAU football. That pass is up and over the head of Steve McKellar, falling incomplete to set up third down. And this is where it gets interesting, because neither of these schools have long range in the field goal kicking department.
No, that's exactly right. You take a look at McGill, for example. Hoegengard, I believe his longest is only 30 yards this year.
And the same true for Dan Coder, 31 the longest for him, so it becomes an obvious punting situation for Bentley Harris standing back at the midfield stripe. This time McGill mustered a bit of a drive and will hem the Gaels, if it's a good punt, deep in their own territory. And it's not a good punt, but once again against a stiff breeze, going out of bounds just inside the 20-yard line. That once again is where the Gaels will start. This is one of 4 playoff games going on in Canadian University football today, both in the Ontario Conference and the Ontario-Quebec Conference. 22-yard punt for Charlie Bailey's McGill Redmen. Queens Of the two teams, the only one ranked in the top 10, and that was a recent appearance just a couple of weeks ago. The top 5 St. FX in the Atlantic Conference, followed by 3 teams from the OUAA, and then from 6 to 10, Saskatchewan, there's Queens at number 7. Short yardage again. The running game not working well for Queens in the early going. That's John Thielen once again. And a slight loss on the play. It'll be 2nd and 11.
Well, Queens trying to fake pass, and they run the draw to Thielen, but a real good job by defensive tackle number 71 Martin. They know to sniff it out and stop him for a short loss.
The big back for Queens, Paul Coryell or Coryelli, depending on who you talk to. He says it doesn't really matter. He got injured in week 3, and Thielen has taken over and done an admirable job moving from fullback to tailback. 2nd and long, Gaels, deep in their own territory. Howes to pass. It's knocked down. And that's number 43, Olivier Lefebvre, batting it down, and the Gaels will have to punt deep. Defensively, J.P. Darche, number 55 in the middle, the leading tackler for the Gaels. And Lefebvre with the big play right there.
And a good secondary anchored by Sal Brohe at the corner. He was the leading interceptor in the CIAU a year ago, and he has 3 so far in 1997.
So the Gaels go 2 and out, and Dan Coderre is standing inside his 5-yard line. With an average of 32 per kick. This one is pretty good. It goes out across the 50, and Borgeson has it there and has some room outside. Not a bad return down to the Gaels 45, a 33-yard punt. So he's about on average, and Borgeson once again gives McGill good field position to work with.
Now, I think if you're Charlie Bailey right now, you have to feel pretty good about how things are going. You've been able to put... The Queens have had 3 possessions. They've been 2 and out all 3 times. They're starting to win the battle of field position here, and they're trying to get Hogengard into position to possibly kick a field goal. In the game that McGill won, he in fact kicked 4 field goals in that game.
1st and 10 on the toss. DePronick finds a bit of room outside and a pickup of about 4 yards. Dan Pronick now prominent with the injury of Sean Linden earlier this year.
Yeah, a new role for Dan Pronick, primarily the fullback, but now he's more of the tailback, and they expect him to kind of chew up some big numbers. A good job by Queens, though. See how Pronick, when he gets outside, really never gets his shoulders turned up the field, so they can always get that inside leverage and force him outside.
Last year between these two, the story was Sean Linden and Paul Coryell, but this year the story is different because neither of those guys are around. Both hurt, and both hurt early in the season. And Redmen and Gaels have had to make do without them. And here's Borgeson, who's also been battling injuries in the last few weeks, getting his first start in 3 weeks. He gets some good yardage, close to a first down near the 30-yard line of the Gaels.
Well, I think they want to get the ball in Borgeson's hands as much as possible this afternoon, especially outside. Again, they run that pitch. They lead with Dan Pronick, the fullback. Jim Aru does a nice job of coming off of his block here, 45, and making the tackle and stopping them just short of the first down.
And they bring the sticks out. It is that close. I mentioned other playoff games going on. The winner of this game will face either the Concordia Stingers, the Ottawa Ujijis, another rematch last year in the OQ, and that measurement shows that they are just short of the first down. With the absence of a good field goal kicking team here, it'll be interesting to see what they do.
I think they're going to go for it right now. I think Charlie Bailey has to take his chances when he gets them. And they have a big offensive line. They're averaging 275 pounds. They have some big backs, and Dan Pronick, he's 230 pounds. So I think they can get at least 6 inches here on this surge.
Well, certainly the McGill defense has demonstrated some early control of Queens' offense. Makes the risk that much more worthwhile. They try it straight up the middle, and it looks like they have it easily. Up over across the 30-yard line, and a first down McGill. The drive continues.
It's always the way. They have all those big backs in the backfield, but who do they give it to? The lightest back of all. That was Craig Borgeson. Only weighs 175 pounds. But a good initial surge. They lined up in a quad eye, power eye, and they run it off tackle, and all he had to do was get 6 inches, and he got more than that for the first down.
McGill showing a little bit of initiative on offense where Queens hasn't yet. 2 and out in their only 2 drives, but McGill stringing a couple of first downs together now. And won't get much here. A loss of yardage. That is Borgeson again, and James McLean coming up to make his second tackle of this game.
And, you know, sorry, Rob Potchamus, the wide receiver, has to make a block on McLean. He does not blink, and he's got the seal block to the left of your screen to see him come in here, but he'll miss him right there. McLean spins off of it, and then he makes a tackle on Borgeson. That's the critical block. If he gets that block, they get her out around the corner, and there's some big room outside.
You see McLean's feet slipping there. That field is getting slick with a slight spray of rain before this game began. They run the draw, and it's Chronic going nowhere. Check that, Borgeson with the ball, and that'll be no gain and a 3rd down and long. And this is definitely a field goal situation, and coming from around 36, 37 yards, it will be interesting to see what Gord Hoganrod has. As Jamie mentioned before, his best was barely over 30 yards.
Now, we also have to explain the rules in the O-QIFC that if he misses this and it goes into the end zone, all John Krzyzanowski has to do, the deep man, is get it out to the 1-yard line, and the ball will be scrimmaged from the 20.
It'll be spotted at the Queens 39-yard line for number 12, Gord Hoganrod of Manotick, Ontario. High snap. At the distance, and it is good. And that is his longest of the season, 39-yarder, and an opportune time to give McGill the lead.
I'm amazed, actually, because he's got a great leg. Looks like he should have hit a few more this year.
So McGill is on the board first in this sudden death playoff game. 3-0 lead. We'll continue from Richardson Stadium right after this.
Break it up, D! They're out there.
Bo Howes and the Queens offense has some work to do. It's been 2 and out for their first 2 drives, and now they trail in this game 3-0 after a 39-yard field goal by McGill's Gord Hoganrod. Queens scrimmaging from their 35. And for anyone who's followed Queens over the years, it's a strange sight to see them wearing blue. In their long history, up until now, it had always been just gold, home and away. Times change. But so far in this game, the results don't when Queens tries to run the football. A short game against a very stingy McGill front.
I'm not sure what Bo Howes saw there, but that must have been obviously an automatic. He goes up to the ball here. I think he thinks the defensive tackles are going to slide outside, and the 2 linebackers are going to go up because they empty the backfield. He tries to run quarterback sneak, but they sniffed that right out. Oliver Lefebvre was right in there.
2nd and 7. So he does pick up 3 yards on the play. Get out to the 38-yard line and up over the middle, wide open. That's Chris Robin, the fullback, with a first down and the first down of the day for the Gaels.
It's a real nice job by Queens. They line Chris Robin out. He's normally a back. They line him out as a slot back to the left of your screen. 3-step drop by Bo Howes. He looks inside. Nobody's there. He just finds a hole, and now he turns it up the field and gets a first down.
Used primarily to carry the football and actually to block, filling in for Thielen when he made the move to tailback. A rare catch for him this season, but it gets them up to midfield and a first down Gaels. On the move and down by 3. Here's a pass, and Ryan Timms is tripped up, and there'll be interference against McGill and a first down again for the Gaels. In what looked like incidental contact, nonetheless, the flags do come out.
Well, they're going to call Pamalo Sicanetta, one of the outstanding corners for McGill. Pass interference.
Pass interference. 21 McGill. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
Now there's another one. Contrary to how they do it in the CFL, it is not where the infraction takes place. It is only a 15-yard penalty in the CIAU. And Pamalo Sicanetta,
who was actually looking and going for the football as well.
Played a little running back here at McGill a few years back. Was instrumental in a big game against Concordia.
Ball to the McGill 40, and they hand off. And not much going on for Jonathan Taylor, the slot back.
J.P. Darsh.
That's just a nice job by J.P. Darsh, the all-conference middle linebacker for McGill, number 55. They try to fake trap inside, and then they run the slot back sweep, and he recognized it right away and got in the backfield and tackled Jonathan Taylor.
71 tackles on the season, far and away McGill's most productive defensive player, which stands to reason it's the guy who is in the middle.
Pretty smart guy, too, first-year med school.
Second, little over 10 yards for Bo Howes and the Gaels. They pass it, and it goes off the hands of Chris Gear and out of bounds. setting up third down.
I'll tell you what, Rod, I could pull out film from all this year at Queens, and you would not see Chris Gear do that once. He is one of the top receivers in the nation, and this is a ball that you have to have in playoff games. That's just a lack of concentration at the last moment. He is a steady receiver.
In his 5th year out of Lennoxville, home, of course, of the Bishop's Gators. And yeah, he has been a lot more reliable in the past. An O-QIFC All-Star last year and nominated for All-Canadian honors this year.
And they had the perfect coverage because McGill were coming with a safety blitz. They brought Darren Samara, number 21, and they had one-on-one coverage outside, a soft one-on-one.
Once again, even though it is from the 41-yard line, it's not a field goal situation for the Gaels. Coderre punts instead, and Borgeson takes it up near the 20-yard line, a 35-yard punt and a 9-yard return. McGill's got a 3-0 lead, and they have the ball back, this time hemmed a little deeper. 3-0, McGill leading the Gaels. It's a traditional rivalry demonstrating a lot of traditions inside of it, such as the Queen's Band, all dressed up in their kilts.
How often do you take your kilt out of the closet, Rod?
Well, do you see it on me now? Little cool day for the kilts, I suppose, although at 13 degrees, not as cool as many a November day. It is very nice as long as the rain holds up, and it has been so far during the game. Borgeson, nothing doing as James Osborne racks him up for a loss of about a yard.
James Osborne, number 99 for Queens, a defensive lineman. The only all-star player they have on that Queens defense, and it is the number 3 defense in the nation. 6'6", 256 from Oshawa, been an all-star the last 3 seasons. He just made an incredible play there.
Yeah, he is a big guy, standing at, as you mentioned, at 6'6", but I think moving to 99, he had a different number in the 40s, I believe, before. He looks bigger now.
And he moves so well. I mean, it's great lateral movement for a big guy.
2nd and long, McGill. McKinnon drops back, loses his footing a bit, and fires the other way, and just over the fingertips of Steve McKellar. That still would have been shy of a first down, but as it stands, the Redmen will be punting the football again.
And you know, it's a little bit of inexperience from David McKinnon. He's getting back in the pocket and then getting flushed out here. Now, when he gets flushed out here to the left, one thing he's got to really remember is to keep his technique. He has to get his downfield shoulder to the receiver, and he doesn't do that. And consequently, that's why the ball is thrown high. He's got to really twist around so he has better control. You see the ball just over Steve McKellar's head.
So Bentley Harris will stand back at his 5 and make his 3rd punt of the day. Punters have been a little busier in this game. Not much productivity and only 3 points on the board so far. McGill has those. Queens will get it back. A low driving punt into that wind. Ryan Timms, the lone guy back to take it at midfield. And just across to the McGill 54, a 38-yard punt. Not much of a return, but good field position for a change for the Gaels. Olivier Lefebvre in there on the tackle.
Olivier Lefebvre downfield to make the tackle on Timms.
In the Ontario Conference today, it is York and Waterloo, and it is the Western Mustangs and the Guelph Griffins. And by the way, Western is leading Guelph in that game at J.W. Little Stadium in London, 3-0 in the first quarter. Same score as we have here. Playoff day in Ontario and Quebec today. Long pass over the middle. Too far for Jonathan Taylor. It falls incomplete inside the McGill 25.
And you know, Bo Howell's got a little greedy there because he had Chris Gear wide open in the flat. He kind of did a little look to him to maybe try and get the defender to go over to Chris Gear, and then he tried to come down the seam to Jonathan Taylor. And he overthrows him.
And what does Bo know?
Saying, I got to get that ball down. And the other thing, I got to take what they're giving me right now. And they're giving me Chris Gear in the flat. You've got to take it.
2nd and 10 from the Redmen 54. And Howes is wrapped up. 2 on him. It's Randy Chevrier that finishes off the sack and dropped back inside the Queens 50.
Well, you have a 3-step drop. You got to get rid of the ball now. But what a great job by Randy Chevrier to slip sideways through that block. And that's one thing a defensive lineman wants to do is don't expose the upper part of your body. Dip your shoulder so there's not much to block. And Chevrier did a great job of getting into the backfield.
A good note for McGill to end on. It's quarter time. They switch ends with a 3-0 lead. Let's now head to Sports Desk Control and get an update from Gino Redden. If you like defensive of football, you've got something to cheer about. So far, the Gaels trail, though, in a low-scoring game. It's 3-0 McGill to start the second quarter here at Richardson Stadium in Kingston. The Gaels have the football, but they're kicking it away, of course, after Bohaus was sacked to end the first quarter. Coder against the wind this time, and it falls to the 30-yard line for Craig Borgeson. Works it back inside and finds some room. Picks up a few blocks along the way and gets up to the 45-yard line. Great return and only a 30-yard punt. McGill's in good shape with the football again.
It's a real nice return, and you can see McGill are real happy to have Borgeson back. We said he's the fastest player on this team. There's over 1,000 all-purpose yards this year from McGill, and they want to have the speeds to get the ball as many times as possible.
As you might expect, the numbers are pretty low through one quarter of play. Just 2 first downs each, Jamie.
Well, when you think of these teams coming in here, Rob, we said Queens was number 3 in defense in the nation, and McGill was number 9, so really not that big of a surprise.
Here's a first down for McGill, and they run the football, and it's Big Dan Pronick with a flag on the play. Gets up over the 50-yard line, McGill.
The ball carrier. Flag on the play.
And anytime you see that flag, it's usually a holding call.
And that is the indication, so it will likely be pushed back.
So illegal use of hands. Number 36, McGill. Back 10 yards, down repeated.
It's Mark Freer, the lead blocker on that play for Dan Pronick.
Over again, first and 20 from the 35.
He's a lead blocker, and we'll see he's at the corner there. You can see he gets his hand outstretched and gets his hands on the jersey of Carl Rasmussen. And that allows Pronick to get around the corner. The official right there throws the flag.
Set up a first and 20 from the McGill 35-yard line in the shotgun. McKinnon will throw, and it goes past Dan Pronick, who's taken a shot there by Dave Bannatyne. Incomplete. Second and 20.
See, David McKinnon kind of looking around saying, hey, you got to have those balls. You got to catch those ones that I'm throwing to you over the middle. It's a bit of a pass rush up top. You can see Pocket sets up nicely here. Goes around the corner. You say, come on, you got to catch those.
The first freshman quarterback at McGill to start since 1976. Back when Charlie Bailey was early in his long tenure as head coach of this team. And that freshman runs the football and gets some of it back, so they'll be punting a little closer to midfield. Picks up about 7 yards, but it'll still leave them well shy of a first down.
Well, you know, a lot's been said when they talk about David McKinnon. You know, they say his he's not that tall. He's only 5'9", but you know, sometimes when you're in the defensive secondary, having a small quarterback in the pocket, you know, it's not great either, because you can't really see his eyes, you can't see his downfield shoulder, you can't see when he's going to release the ball, and everybody looks for an edge, and you don't have an edge with a smaller quarterback when he's in the pocket. You can't see him. All you see is the ball come flying out of the pocket.
Bentley Harris, you see the average, and how important will the kicking game be in a game like this? Low scoring, close. That one out of bounds, no shot for Ryan Timms. Just inside the 35-yard line for the Gaels to start again. An offense that has not been able to muster very much. For Bohaus, 38-yard punt on the play.
With no return, and if you take a look, Queens do not really have a great return team, because their philosophy on punt return is to block it. They go after the blocks all the time, and they've blocked 4 punts this year. Matt Rennie has blocked 4 alone.
Bob Howes, longtime Edmonton Eskimo, won 5 Grey Cup rings with the Eskies. He was a great center for them back in the 70s and early 80s. His last season, a Grey Cup victory over Ottawa in 1981. His son Bo hands off. And that's been the story for the Queens running game so far. McGill's front has been very solid. No gain again. In fact, a loss of about a half yard.
What a job by J.P. Darsh here. He recognizes that this is trap instantly, and he slips up underneath the block here. Watch 55 right in the middle of your screen. He recognizes that it's trap. He sees the guard go away, boom, right in there. Does not allow Rob Chalmers, the right tackle, to get down on him. A lot of linebackers will sit there when they're inexperienced and trying to read the play. It allows the tackle to get down on him. He saw that, recognized it instantly.
There's the tailback, John Thielen, on that play. And they'll pass this time as Howes looks over and finds Matt Carlisle at the 35, but only about a 3-yard gain in a punting situation again for the Gaels.
You know, I've been impressed with both teams defensively, and especially how well they strike each other. I mean, these are not passive defenses. These are teams that come up and they hit you. They don't allow you to get your shoulders turned up the field. Real tough hit there by Craig Larmer.
Now, why in a situation like that would you throw so short when you need about 10, 11 yards?
Well, that's just a mistake, and I think Bo Howes, you have to realize what the route is, and granted, you got to take what they give you, but McGill at that time were taking away the level 2, giving him the level 1, and Bo Howes decided to take it, and receiver paid for it.
They have tried a few deep routes. Ryan Timms might have had one. They ended up getting interference on it. And that's a short spiral to Borgensen. Takes it standing at the 45 and runs to his left. And might have a bit of room as he cuts it back in. And takes a good pop there by Nathan Box, number 58.
You know, sometimes you have to make a decision when you're a punt returner that, you know, he ran a long way. Didn't really gain any yards in that. He should have just taken it straight up the field.
Just a 28-yard punt, so the field position game being won by McGill, and on the scoreboard, they have the 3-point edge. They'll start again when we come back. Welcome back to Richardson Stadium on the campus of Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario. With the McGill Redmen leading the Golden Gaels 3-0 in the O-QIFC playoff game. I'm Rod Smith along with Jamie Bone. A couple of weeks' time, we'll have both the Churchill and the Atlantic Bowl, and we'll also, of course, have the culmination of the season, the Vanier Cup. Skydome in Toronto. McKinnon drops the ball on first down. He gets it back, but McGill loses yardage on that first down play.
You know, McGill offensively now are starting to spread things out with the receivers. They had Luke way over to the side. And, you know, one of the basic tenets of football, you have to get the ball from the center. The quarterback does. You can see the ball fumble. Now the quarterback and center go back and say, whose fault was that? Well, you know, usually it's both of them, but the quarterback's got to hang in there and get that football.
Well, my offensive line coach in high school always told me it's always the quarterback's fault. Never forget that.
No. It's the other way around. That's your offensive line coach talking.
He was never wrong. McKinnon just motions to pass it there. The whistle's long blown and flags all over the place.
Number 60, McGill, procedure. Don't repeat it.
I believe he called number 60, which is Randy Chevrier, a defensive lineman.
No, I don't think it was Andrew Castellaro, and I think number 69. We move first, the left guard.
Just a different number as the one called. Wouldn't have been Chevrier.
Now Queens have their nickel package in here with 6 DBs, and that's Andrew Tuesley.
And a good pop there for the Gaels. James Osborne down in there, the number 3, Lucetta. But once again, far short of the first down. Boy, Osborne is a load. He unloads on a guy the size of Lucetta. That's a bit of a difference there.
Number 99, James Osborne. Try to run that screen, you know, coming back inside. It takes a lot of courage, and boy, that's a great technical technique tackle. Look at this. Boom. Underneath, just smothers the ball carrier. Andrew Lucetta, only 5'11", 180 pounds.
That's a bit of a difference.
Sure is.
A guy that's 6'6". Down inside the 35, Bentley Harris gets it away. It's a nice punt. Driving Timms back inside his 20. Best punt of the day for either team. And he settles up around the Queens 25. A 40-yard kick that time. Looked like it was sailing even further with the wind. And a short return for the Gaels.
Now, Rod, I think Bo Howes has to come out here in this series, and they have to start getting the ball to some of the big receivers. And that big receiver for them this year has been Chris Gear. He's only had one pass thrown his way, and we're 9 minutes into the second quarter. He's their big go-to guy. He's averaging 21 yards per reception. You got to get the ball into his hands.
So far, not a very productive day for the second leading passer in the country. Howes rolling to his left and finds Jonathan Taylor up over the 45 near midfield, and certainly the biggest play offensively for the Gaels today.
You know what's amazing is that Bo Howes was not even throwing to Jonathan Taylor. He was trying to throw it to Chris Gear. Jonathan Taylor's doing he's doing an out number 15. We got rollout action here in the play action, but Taylor's supposed to clear, and then Gear's doing the curl. But you can see he doesn't quite get all the way around, and he turns back inside and takes the ball away from Chris Gear for a nice gain. But you know, if you ask Bo Howes who's he throwing to, he says Jonathan Taylor.
Of course. You quarterbacks all stick together. So a first down over midfield for the Gaels. And that one falls well past Matt Carlisle. An incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I know that's a tough pass to complete right there. You're trying to play man coverage underneath. They had the safety free. You've got to go to an automatic sight read where you have some type of a crossing route inside there so you can escape the defender.
Bo House and the guy they call Bo House, Bob House, the head coach. Bob won his first Grey Cup with the Eskimos in 1975. His wife, who was very pregnant at the time, made the trip from Edmonton down to Calgary where the game was to be played. Well, before the game, the night before, she gave birth before the Eskimos took on the Alouettes, and they named him Bo. The quarterback in today's game who finds Taylor again, who loses the football. And the moan of the crowd tells you the story. The first turnover of the game, and it goes to the McGill Redmen at their 40-yard line. Craig Larmer, number 57, picks it up.
And, you know, they had the right call on here because they had a blitz coming from McGill. 3-step drop. They got rid of the ball quick to Jonathan Taylor. See the blitz coming. Bang. Gets it to him right away. And does a nice job here of moving around, but he doesn't hold on to the ball very effectively. It gets popped out right there with the left hand of the defender. And then Craig Larmer, number 57, comes over and recovers it.
So even when it goes right for the Queens offense, it ultimately goes wrong. McGill has the football again and a 3-0 lead. You're watching CIAU football on TSN. Here in Kingston, the McGill Redmen have taken over on a turnover. Steve Larmer. My mind's in hockey all of a sudden. That is Craig Larmer, number 57 for the Redmen. Picking up the fumble of Jonathan Taylor, so a first down at the 35-40-yard line for McGill. And he will pass, but he won't because he is wrapped up by Jim Aru. McKinnon is down at his 30. And a 10-yard loss for the Redmen. And Carl Rasmussen in there as well.
This was a race to who was going to get to the quarterback first between Carl Rasmussen, the right end, and Jim Aru, the left end. Number 42 and 45 coming off the corners, and Rasmussen gets there first, and then Jim Aru has the distinct pleasure of finishing it off.
In the previous meeting between these two teams here in Kingston, the Gaels sacked McKinnon 8 times. They won the game 21-7. As you can imagine, largely because of the play of their defense, ranked 3rd in the country. McKinnon gets it away this time, and it is over Lucetta by about 5 yards. And with 3rd and 20, the Redmen will be punting again. As the band looks on, I can tell you that after our football game today, TSN has ATP tennis for you. The Paris Open semi-final action, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific time, and the final will be seen here on TSN Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. The Paris Open. Bentley Harris becoming a familiar sight so far in this game. Punters standing back to do their business. He's at the 15, end over end. Timms comes in and picks it up and takes it over the midfield stripe. So the Gaels back to about where they were before they turned over the football before after a 32-yard punt. Trailing 3-0, and Bo House at least saw some signs of promise, Jamie, that they could move that football on last drive.
Yeah, that's right, Rod. They were starting to show some pretty good offense and throwing the ball down the field and trying to get some of their big receivers. Jonathan Taylor, of course, 27 receptions this season for over 400 yards, 16-yard average, and a couple of touchdowns.
Play action fake as House throws it over, nearly picked off at the 40-yard line for McGill.
Real nice coverage by Scott Hamlin, the inside halfback. He was right in Jonathan Taylor's back pocket. Great coverage here. Play action pass. They fake it to Thielen. And Bo House is a left-handed quarterback, so much more effective throwing to his left, but that ball was pretty close to being picked off by Scott Hamlin. Just straight man coverage.
To set up a 2nd and 10 Gaels. Midfield. And House looks to pass, but a little shuffle to Taylor, who picks up 5 yards. And Taylor, despite the fumble, has been a prominent player offensively in this game so far for Queens, albeit there hasn't been much offense for the blue and gold so far, and they'll be punting once again.
And Jonathan Taylor lining up in that slot back position. A couple of big catches now. They try to run the shovel pass to him. Again, just three-step drop. Comes across inside. They try to trap it. Turns it up the field, but a pretty good job there by number 43, Olivier Lefebvre. And he gets crunched backwards.
A similar play to one that has been used so well this year in the CFL by the Toronto Argonauts. Doug Flutie and Robert Drummond, they ran that play a lot too.
They almost run it like an option, though. Flutie kind of runs out and Drummond follows him, and then when he gets pressure, he deals it off.
Punt is taken by Borgeson again at about his 15-yard line, and not much doing for him after a 33-yard punt. Number 33 is taken down at the McGill 15. So David McKinnon talks things over, and we'll go to work once again for a McGill offense that has had a couple of drives, one culminating in a field goal that amounts to the only points of this game so far.
And both teams have done an excellent job in special teams coverage.
It's been a fast first half so far. 5:04 left in it. Charlie Bailey took over back in the early 70s. The longest running tenure of any CIAU football coach, still going. Seen a lot of changes, a lot of good athletes come and go with that program. Looking to get McGill back to where he was 10 years ago, as they have short yardage up the middle once again.
Loss of a yard.
He's trying to run that inside trap, and it's funny because Queen's identity here for years is to be running that inside trap sweep, so this defense has seen that numerous times, and their recognition of it is instantaneous. It's the type of situation you don't want to have a young quarterback in. Second down and long in the shadow of your own goal line.
And they take the timeout and they check the clock. Reading 4:13 left in this second quarter. So we'll take a break as well. It's McGill with that one field goal and the slim lead getting late in the half. A much-deserved break for two guys on a McGill front that has been working to perfection so far in this game. Stéphane Galabois, number 45, and Martin Deneau, number 71. McGill pitching the shutout so far with a 3-0 lead. And McKinnon will try to add to that, although starting deep in his own zone, escapes the pocket and picks up some modest yardage up around the 25-yard line. It'll be second and short for McGill. Check that. It will be third down and a punting situation for the Redmen.
Just good defense by Queens. They did a great job in the secondary. Nobody was open. One thing about McKinnon for a young guy, you know, you could see when he was back in the pocket, he went through all of his reads. Takes a look to his right, not open, comes back down the middle, takes a look left, nothing there. Now he's got to get out. Now he knows the clock is ticking and he's got to get out of there. The Queens do a good job of containing him and forcing a punting situation. There's no worse feeling in the world, Rob, when you're back there in the pocket and your three receivers that you're looking for, and you go through your reads and none of them are open.
Are you speaking from experience?
Yeah, speaking from experience. And you know that clock is ticking, and you've got to get out of there and make something happen.
And James McLean, the injured Golden Gale, they were checking out his left knee on the play. The freshman, he's had an excellent year in the secondary for the Gaels, but looks to be all right now, going off under his own steam, and doesn't appear to show any limp. So
yeah, he didn't play high school football in Ottawa. He played for one of those club teams, the Tri-City Dogs down there. One of those club teams like Jesse Palmer played for is now Florida. It's a good league.
Third down McGill. Harris once again deep at his 5-yard line. And another pretty nice kick. He had a 40-yarder last time. That drives Timms to the Queens 45. Picks up 10 on the return. And the Gaels will start at midfield again. This time a 44-yard punt for Harris, who's really starting to let them go with the wind at his back.
Now, Queens come out with fairly good field position, though, right here, even though it was a great kick. But what I'm impressed by with both teams is how quickly their coverage teams get down there. I mean, a lot of teams sometimes use special teams and they kind of slack off a little bit. Neither of these teams do. They realize how important special teams are, and they hustle their butts and get down the field.
The Gaels lost only twice this season. Once was in the opener, 20-18 to McGill. Met them later on in week 3, and they won that one 21-7. Here is Bo House throwing, finds Carlisle, and has a 5-yard gain up to the 50-yard line of the Redmen.
And that's a good first down pass. You know, you want to get 6 yards, 5 or 6 yards, because you can do so many things in 2nd down and 4. Again, one of the 3-step drop, it just does the quick out. Tackled by Darren Samara out of Halifax. And Matt Carlisle, last year, the 3rd leading receiver in the CIAU a year ago. In his 5th year, numbers not quite as good as they were a year ago, but nonetheless, 23 receptions this year.
2:42 and clicking down, left in the half as they blow the whistle after movement at the line. Howe's got the ball away to Carlisle, but long after the flags had been down and the whistle had blown. And some early pressure on Bob House, seeing his team trailing, possibly heading to the locker room with a deficit if they can't change the way things have been flowing in this game and move the ball a little bit.
2nd down over again. 2nd and 9.
Okay, right there, Garth Scott. He's the left tackle. He's going to move.
So that sets up 2nd and 10 now for Queens. And bear in mind, if they want to get the field goal, they need to get down well inside the 30-yard line. Taylor with a nice catch, the 45, and then he's dropped and coughs up the ball again, but this time they're giving it to McGill again. It is ruled a fumble, and the 2nd turnover for the Redmen. Once again, it is on a Jonathan Taylor fumble.
Sorry, Rod, I don't think so. I think the whistle was blown before he fumbled the ball.
But one official did signal McGill's way.
Yeah.
Now they're docking it over.
Yeah, and I think that would be the whistle. I heard a whistle blow after he was forward progress was stopped.
The cheers will tell you that it's not ruled a fumble.
Yeah. It's a good call. He was down.
Popped very hard by J.P. Darsh. And Taylor is the busiest receiver that the Gaels have had so far. His 3rd catch of the day. He did have the fumble earlier on, but he looks to be one of the most reliable right now for Bo House. In terms of a target getting open, there's John Thielen up the middle for about 5 yards.
Tackled by Matt Nickel.
And
Make it 4 and 2nd and 6.
Sorry, Rod, if Matt Nickel wasn't there to make the tackle on that drop play, that was gone for a lot of yardage. Matt Nickel came off his end position and slid inside. You know, what's amazing about Jonathan Taylor especially, here's a guy in 3rd year med school. I want to know, how did the guy find the time?
Well, he took the year off last year, and he was their player of the year in '94. But he did take that time off, and it is truly amazing. And as you mentioned, another McGill player earlier who's also in med school.
And I know you had the same kind of course load that he had when you were playing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a tough time just looking after my other things. It did not involve med school, let's put it that way. How about you? Any difficulty with the schoolwork?
Oh, yeah, I had took a lot of courses. I just loaded myself up to the brim, and I was in the library all the time.
Are you going to
practicing football?
Brag now at what sort of student you were? Must I tolerate that?
I'll bring my transcripts in. Actually, no, I can't remember. How do you get your transcripts anyway? I don't remember how to get them anymore.
But you knew where the library was at Western.
I think I did, yeah. I passed by it a few times.
It's 2nd down and long for the Gaels, complete to Carlisle. Fumbles the ball. And this is a fumble, and this is a McGill recovery. And up to the 50-yard line for number 25 rather, Sikanita. Humulo Sikanita.
Queens are just shooting themselves in the foot here right now with turnovers. Again, a good strike to Matt Carlisle, trying to fight for the first down, but the hand gets in there from Olivier Lefebvre, and now Pomalo Sikaneta picks it up. And we talked about Sikaneta being a running back a couple of years ago in one game and how he's a good runner. Again, Olivier Lefebvre gets that left arm in there, pops it loose, and Sikaneta picks it up. Good heads-up play by McGill's defense.
the plus-minus between these two teams vastly favored Queens heading into this game. But so far, it's 2 turnovers by the Gaels, and McGill has not coughed it up once. Rolling out to his right is McKinnon. Looks and fires, and we almost had the first Queens turnover of the day. McGill nearly coughing it up there. John Krzyzanowski looked to have the pick at the 45, but dropped the ball.
And Krzyzanowski, the veteran here, number 29 in the middle of your screen. Now watch where David McKinnon's looking. He's looking inside, inside, inside. You know, and then Krzyzanowski's right there, and then he attacks the football. That's one of the things, boy, when you're looking inside, you decide that you're going to release the football, you got to let it go now. You just cannot eyeball that receiver for a long period of time, where veterans like Krzyzanowski are going to jump on that ball.
Second down and 10, and McKinnon will throw again. It gets partially deflected at the line, I believe by Jim Aru, and it falls incomplete to set up third down.
McGill have had a couple of turnovers now and have failed to capitalize on them. And if you look at the number of times the team score, usually score 40% of the time on a turnover, and that usually decides football games. McGill have been unable to capitalize on it, but they should be able to drive Queens back in their own end. Jim Aru, number 45, getting his hand up here. That's the way you play defense. It's deflecting it away from an open receiver, number 3, Andy Lucchetta.
Well, we rightly talk about how good McGill's defense has been, but so too has the blue and gold, and another beautiful punt by Bentley Harris. He keeps getting better. Timms keeps getting deeper and gets tackled inside the 15, about the 11-yard line. A 50-yard boot for Harris, and once again it's Craig Larmer with the tackle. Queens will have to start deep in their own zone, and how costly is that turnover now?
Oh, that's huge. I mean, you're talking about 50, 60 yards difference right now, and actually almost 100 yards difference, because if Queens did not even move the ball and get a first down, they would have kicked it. McGill would have had the ball in the shadow of their own goal line, but now Bo House is the monumental task against this McGill defense, trying to drive his team to put some points on the board as McGill leads it 3-0.
With 1:21 on the clock, if they want to tie it or go ahead, they got a big job ahead of them right now. But the pass is complete to Gear, up at the 25-yard line, his first catch of the day.
And that's what's amazing, is that it's only Chris Gear's first reception. He's been their go-to guy all year, one of the top receivers in the CIAU the past 2 seasons. Attended Champlain College.
Lennoxville, Quebec. Here's Sherbrooke. They throw it out there. Number 17, Jason Wimmer, but it goes through his hands and falls incomplete, so it'll be 2nd and 10 Gaels.
And that's when you have to be sure of the catch. Go down on one knee and make that catch, but make the reception. See the quarterback comparison. Howell's not doing a bad job, 103 yards compared to McKinnon, only 13, but his receivers have been unable to hold on to the ball once he completes it to them.
Howe's had just over 1,600 yards passing in the season, second only to Nathan Body of Wealth in the country. And they throw it off to the side for John Thielen, and he's stuck up at the 25-yard line, no more. And that's Galibois, number 45, with the tackle to force another punting situation for Queens.
And a smart move by McGill right now to take the time out with a minute left, knowing that they're going to have some time to get the ball with relatively good field position, possibly drive it down and give Hogengard a chance to kick another field goal. But, you know, sometimes, Rod, you get in games like this, and people might say, geez, where's the offense? But I tell you what, you're looking at 2 really solid defenses.
Very solid so far.
Schooled very well, technically exceptional, and when the ball is caught, they get great leverage. They take away the outside, the inside, and they make great tackles. Exceptional defense on both sides of the ball.
In the last 2 possessions, only 40 seconds is ticked off the clock. With the lights partially out in the final digit, I believe it reads 1 minute exactly to go. And only 3 points on the scoreboard. When these 2 last met here in Kingston in September, it was tied at 7. Heading to the locker room, Queens had 14 quick points in the third, and they won it 21-7.
And McGill looked like they're trying to set up the return here. They're not coming after it.
Dan Coderre standing at his 12. And a low driving kick barely makes it to midfield, but gets a nice roll Borgeson standing at his 40, works his way back up over the 45, but no more, and slams the ball down, apparently in disgust, thinking they could have had better situation. Coderre's best punt of the day at 44 yards.
And that's a danger that you have when you only put one person back on punt return team. If the ball is shanked left or right, it's a real tough job for the return man to get over to it and get into kind of return going.
So the issue appears no longer if Queens can tie the game at halftime, but whether McGill can add to that lead with 50 seconds to go until they hit the locker room. They have 3. They need a good 30, 40 yards to get in position to get any more points. Borgeson on the toss. Tries to work his way outside, but they've got it strung out. And he's out of bounds right at the yard marker. No gain, McGill.
And you know why this is such good team defense here, Rod, is because the Queens defenders coming up here, none of them have to come in there and commit themselves and make the tackle. They just keep stringing it out, stringing it out, stringing it out, using the sideline as an ally. And there's just nowhere else to run right here.
That's Matt Rennie, the finishing touch with James McLean on him as well. Boy, McLean's the freshman. Really making his presence felt so far in this game. A couple of tackles.
He's had a good season here. He's had 3 sacks, so he'll come off the corner sometimes from that defensive back position, and also 3 picks this year as well.
And Derek Sprong, 56, you just saw in the middle, helping out on that play as well. And a second and just under 10 yards for McGill with 43 seconds and counting down in this half. He throws. It's complete. They whistle it down right there to number 3, Andy Lucchetta. It'll be a first down, McGill. They do move the ball and get a little bit closer. With 36 seconds to go and the ball around the 46-yard line.
This is a good job by Andy Lucchetta, the wideout. I mean, he knows where the first down marker is. He's an experienced receiver, played quarterback here at McGill. Plus, he makes sure that he makes the catch. The catch is critical. Go down on one knee and make the catch. Doesn't matter. You've got the first down. Then he tries to get out of bounds, but he was down when his knee touched.
First down for McGill this quarter. And excuse me, the ball's on the 53-yard line. Outside and thrown away by McKinnon there. It'll be 2nd and 10, 16 seconds now. I'd say they need a good 20 to get in field goal range.
You know, that's a good play by David McKinnon. It wasn't there. He wasn't going to force it, especially on first down. You've got 16 seconds. You've got more than enough time for, I'd say you got 3 plays here. If you can get them off relatively quickly, you can get 20 yards, and you can get Hoganrod into field goal position.
20 yards, yes, would set up a 40-yard field goal. Put him at the 33. He hit from 39 earlier in this game, the only points of the game so far, and with a slight breeze at the back, that's a realistic goal, about 20 yards and about 16 seconds to do it. See if they go for it all right here to get into position. No, they throw it off to Pronick, and as soon as he touches the ball, he is touched and coughs it up, and Queens does get its first turnover of the game. McGill finally coughing it up. That's Greg Morosky, number 13.
When you're a quarterback throwing the ball, you want to try and get it to your receivers outside shoulders. Seal Pronick has to turn back inside. That's the last thing he wants to do, is because you've got all your pursuit coming from the inside. But you got number 37, Dave Ballantyne, comes across, makes the hit, knocks the ball away, and Greg Morosky picks it up for Queens.
With 7 seconds to go, it certainly appears like the Gaels will be trailing by 3 points heading to the locker room. Although they'll go down swinging. Rolling to his right, flag on the play, and looking deep down the middle, possibly for field goal position, but it falls incomplete.
There's a flag on the play. Holding Queens.
And there's holding against Queens, and I'm sure that McGill will probably decline it with no time left in the clock, and that'll end the half.
And no time left in the clock, so if they do decline, that is it.
Number 40, it's declined. The half is over.
And a half that favors McGill, although ever so slightly. The winning team so far in this game is defense. Both defenses, just a 3-point game in this O-QIFC semifinal. We'll head to a Sports Desk update after this break. As the Queens band gives its rendition of Star Wars, we can tell you that in this game, it's not so much the stars, but the guys in the trenches getting it done. A 3-0 lead not to the delight of the fans that have showed up here at Richardson Stadium to see it, but it is totally defensive ball game so far. Rod Smith and Jamie Bowen back here in Kingston watching this Ontario-Quebec playoff unfold not at all the way it did last year. Certainly more points on the board at this time, that game at McGill Stadium. I don't know, how much of a surprise is this to you, given that you got a guy like Bo Howe's second leading quarterback in the CIAU this year?
That's what is a surprise, because I thought Queens would come out here and I thought they would establish themselves offensively. And I knew Queens had a good defense. I didn't know that McGill had as good a defense. McGill are doing an exceptional job. When you talk about stars, I think there's a few offensive players, seeing a few, because both of these teams defensively strike people.
There's been a lot of popping going on. Now, other action going on today. Well, there's some playoff games. There's some regular season games, but last night, the most significant to report so far, the UBC Thunderbirds in the Canada West Conference assured themselves of a spot in the conference championship next week when they beat Manitoba 27-6, but it came at a price. Mark Nora, second leading running back in the CIAU this year, injured his knee in the third quarter, and they are not certain whether he'll be able to play in that game. That sets up who their opponent will be. It'll be either Saskatchewan or Calgary. Meeting today at Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon. Winner of that game is in. If it's Saskatchewan, they will host the Canada West final next week. If it's Calgary, then the game will be played at UBC. A game that doesn't mean anything now. St. Mary's and Acadia, both teams out of the playoff picture as they finish off their regular season. As far as a playoff score in this, the O-QIFC, the winner of this game today in Kingston will take on Concordia or Ottawa. And right now, at the half, at Frank Clair Field, it is tied at 13. Now, this is a meaningless game because it's regular season, but St. FX and Mount Allison will meet next week in the Atlantic Championship. Mount A, without its star running back Eric Lapointe, who has a broken arm, and he is gone for the season. Two playoff games in the Ontario Conference, the OUAA, Guelph and Western, and in London, it's the Mustangs. Jamie Bowen's Mustangs leading it by 10 points. York at Waterloo. York had such a good start, but it is the Warriors with the top-ranked defense in the league, and they lead it 10-0. Size up the OUAA for me. These playoff games going on, all four of these schools have been very impressive. Three teams at 6-2 this year. That is absolute dominance. Just what has gone on so far and who you like really coming out of that conference.
Well, I think the best team in that conference, even though Western won it, they had a tie. They were 6-1-1. I think the best team defensively by far is University of Waterloo. I mean, they are an exceptional team defensively. They're the #1 in the nation. They have such great quickness and strength, and technically they're very sound on defense. And, it's a tough United football team. They hit people and they run real hard. Offensively, I don't think Waterloo is as strong, but you don't have to be when you got a great defense. And look what they're doing to York right now. It's 10-0. Western, on the other hand, they've come along. They've got a new quarterback playing for them this year. Michael Bryan took over halfway through the season. Got some pretty good receivers. Defensively, they had a letdown last week against McMaster when the score was tied 35-all against Mac, who's not making the playoffs. But they seem to be doing pretty well against Nathan Boddy at Guelph this afternoon. He's the leading passer in the nation.
17-7 in that one. The winners of those two games will meet in the Yates Cup next week. As for the O-QIFC, well, if Queens can win this game, they can host the championship game next week. But they're down by 3 to McGill. Well, but look at the highlights when we come back here in Kingston. When the fans here at Richardson Stadium chanted defense, maybe they didn't know exactly what they'd be in store for. Defense is what they have gotten. Only 3 points in the first half here in this Ontario-Quebec Conference semifinal game. And welcome back to Kingston. Yes, defense, the story. We knew it going in, so it's not a total shock, but they have been absolutely dominant, both sides, so far in this game.
And, Rod, you're right. It has been absolutely great defense as opposed to lack of good offense. And, we saw it on both sides of the ball, McGill and for Queens. And, the first play that I like is J.P. Darce, middle linebacker, recognizes trap right away. Look how he accelerates into the hole. Boom! And he just delivers a blow on John Thielen, stopping it for a 1-yard loss. That's just exceptional defense.
I had mentioned earlier how the turnover ratios really favored Queens. As we first of all look actually at another good Queens defensive play.
And you take a look at how Queens play defense here. They don't commit themselves and guys don't come in there flying out of control. They realize the sideline is their ally. Let's just stretch it out, stretch it out, stretch it out, and then make a team tackle for a gain of 0.
The turnover ratio, Queens was +11 heading into this game, McGill -1, but the two most significant turnovers certainly went to the Redmen.
Well, Queens have been shooting themselves in the foot right now with turnovers, and it's really been hurting them in terms of trying to establish any kind of a drive. Bo Howe's back here to his dependable slot back tight end, Matt Carlisle, spins outside, and now he loses the football right here, and that stopped the big drive for Queens. And then another one here again. Bo Howe's back to pass again. Looks like they've got something going here. Again, puts it outside here. Nice catch by Carlisle. Takes it up the field. A good play by McGill. Ball fumbled, and it stuffs out another drive.
No touchdowns to show you because there have been none. Just a 39-yard field goal by Hoganrod. How big could the kicking game be in this game?
Yeah, we might have overtime.
And overtime rules, that's another kettle of fish entirely for you. No need to talk about that until we get closer to it. We have another half to play with McGill taking the early initiative. A 3-0 lead here in Kingston. Winner moving on. The loser going home, or in the case of Queens, staying home. We'll be right back. Bob Howe's trying to fire up his team. They trail by 3 after one half. Still 30 minutes to play at least. Who knows? In a game this close, the halftime numbers. And Queens leading in a number of categories except for on the scoreboard.
Well, if you like defense, this is the kind of game you like to see with great defense being played. And you're right, Rod. Queens have more numbers, but the turnovers have killed them. They've been unable to sustain drives because of not being able to hold on to the football.
And remind me not to be so aggressive digging into my bag of cliches when I said that if Queens loses, then they have to stay home, because if they win, they get to stay home. Queens is the only school in the country that, if they do keep winning, could have home field advantage right up until the Vanier Cup. The O-QIFC hosts the Churchill Bowl game, so whoever does win the Churchill, or whoever wins the conference championship next week, will get to host the national semifinal against the winner from the OUAA. Before Bowhouse and Queens can even remotely think about that, they've got to have to worry about here in an offense that is totally stalled. And if you're Charlie Bailey, how do you feel? You're the visiting team, haven't won a playoff game here in 35 years, and yet it's only a 3-point lead. The kickoff, it's deep. Very deep and into the end zone for Jonathan Taylor. And he will try to run it out. And he will not make it. And Craig Larmer is one of the Redmen there to make sure he doesn't make it out. So it's no longer a 3-point game. First play of the second half, and add a single point to the McGill total, and a 4-0 lead.
That could be a big play for McGill, given how this game has gone so far. Jonathan Taylor back there to receive it, not deep enough. And Hoganrod really catches that kick and drives it into the end zone. I think Bo Howes, though, would much rather have the ball in the 35, though, than on the 1-yard line.
The kicking game has certainly favored McGill. Hoganrod, a 39-yard field goal, and then that kickoff for a single. Bentley Harris has really been punting the football well. 1st and 10, Howes and the Gaels, and a first down for Jonathan Taylor. Up over the 50-yard line. Queens in good position again. Taylor at 4 catches in the first half, 60 yards, but that one fumble.
And you know, Rod, it's funny how when you're dropping the ball on offense and not being able to hold on to it, how you kind of make that extra effort sometimes. And Jonathan Taylor running down in the slot play action pass. Bohal looks back inside. Probably should make sure he secures the ball, puts 2 hands over the ball, and gets a first down.
The med student Taylor having a great day today so far. And Howe's not too bad as well. He's 11 for 19. That one falls incomplete inside the McGill 45-yard line.
That's a real good battle going on out there between Pamela Sicanetta, the corner for McGill, and Chris Gear. So far right now, Gear's only had 1 catch in today's game. Sicanetta doing a real nice job. And quite a story with Sicanetta. He played here, took the year off last year. His girlfriend developed brain cancer, decided to take the year off of school and off of football and spend time with her in Toronto. And sadly, she passed away last year, and he came back to McGill.
It is 2nd down and 10 now. Queens, Taylor again to the McGill 45, and another Gale first down. They're starting to move the football. And Taylor is the big reason why.
He does a real nice job of knowing where he is in the field. You know, running down there in a zone cover here. Bohal gets back, 3-step drop, just finds that hole, turns around and makes the catch. And Craig Larmer, the linebacker, has to make the tackle. Hometown boy.
Many Kingston products playing on this team. Howe's under pressure, won't get it away. He's buried across midfield. Larmer is there. Deneau is there. And Olivier Lefebvre is there as well to wrap him up.
Well, Olivier Lefebvre was not fooled by the play-action pass. They were trying to run bootleg. They pull the guard outside to try and kick out, but you can see that he gets there so quickly, Lefebvre, that the guard is unable to get out and make the block on him. Bohals has to try and pull up, and then the backside gets him. Right here, Bohouse knows what's happening, but now the backside gets him and sacked for a loss.
And it is second and nearly 20 as a result. So far, some routes over the middle in the 15 to 20-yard range have been working, and that's about what they need this time. See what he looks for. Looking over the middle, shorter for Carlisle, not even close. In fact, near the line of scrimmage with a flag in the backfield, and could be holding for the Gaels. And it is against Queens. An obvious situation for McGill to decline because it will be 3rd and long on a 3-yard gain.
And that hold was
Number 40. Holding. It's a decline. 3rd down.
32 seconds.
Okay, Bob.
Rob Chalmers, the right tackle, called for holding, also the 3rd down snapper.
Dan Coderre standing at his 45, and you see the difference in the averages so far. This one is better for Coderre. Inside the 15-yard line is Craig Borgeson. To his right, and some room, and some blockers ahead. And he has gathered some steam and got it out across the McGill 40. A 38-yard punt, but an excellent return for the Redmen.
Jason Wimmer with the tackle.
27-yard return for Craig Borgeson. A little more breathing room for the Redmen, who have a 4-0 lead. We'll be back. A 27-yard punt return by this guy, Craig Borgeson, made for a differential of only 11 yards. As Queens handed over the football, great return here by McGill.
Nice job by Borgeson. He gets outside, and number 27, Matt Rennie, who you might have seen in your picture, he does a pretty good job, though, of turning around and cutting him off and forcing him back inside, because that looked like it had all the makings of being a touchdown. Come on, come on. Let's go, Ben. Borgeson from North Battleford, Saskatchewan. His mother made the trip here. She is in the crowd today to watch her son play.
Great Canadian representation on McGill. Across the country, they have players in most provinces. Chronic of Winnipeg takes it over the 45. And about a 5-6 yard gain for McGill.
Now, this is the first time so far in this game that McGill have been able to seal Jim Aru inside. And look what happened. Once they got him stuck inside, created a big seam for Pronic to run up and get 8 yards.
Call it 2nd and 3. And they hand off. Tough sledding inside there for Pronic again. Jim Aru, one of the tacklers there for Queens. And Conrad Sursak as well. But gets the 1st down. McGill moving the football. The value of a defensive end who is tall like Jim Aru, we saw earlier, getting a piece of a pass. One of the great defenders for the Gaels in this edition. And talk about good defense. The Gaels have wrapped up McKinnon and taken him down for a huge loss. And it is Carl Rasmussen who gets it done for Queens back near the McGill 35.
It's a nice job by Rasmussen. He does not lose control. The drop back pass, he comes to the right side of your screen, and he just breaks down. He doesn't overcommit himself, and then he comes in and makes the tackle. 2 sacks on the season. That's his 3rd. It's one thing about Queens when you look at their defensive ends, and historically they have not been big people. They've been relatively small but quick.
2 sacks apiece now in this game. The second one there for Queens forces McGill into a long situation that turns out to be going nowhere. James Osborne pressuring McKinnon, who gets frustrated, and now a late flag thrown.
And they're calling it grounding against McKinnon, so that's going to go back there because Pronic was not open, and he just threw the ball away after that pressure from James Osborne.
There is no infraction. There is no infraction.
Perhaps grounding was considered and then reconsidered.
Again, here gets flushed out of the pocket now by Osborne. Pronic, number 34, to the left of your screen. If the field is open, he was just throwing that ball away. Now, it's obviously a judgment call by the official, but I don't understand. How can you have judgment in one regard, throwing the flag, and then change your mind? That was grounding.
You don't think Ferreira was within a few yards there? I think he was within range, although there was no chance of catching it.
There was no intent to complete the ball to him.
The ball rolls by Ryan Timms down at his 15, and he's buried a couple of yards later. So Another very productive punt, 55 yards for Bentley Harris. For an average of 37 coming into this game, he has had some rockets.
He's had some big kicks this afternoon.
And the result of that is more bad field position for the blue and gold.
And, you know, coming into the third quarter, this has been the quarter that Queens has dominated all year long. They've only allowed 4 points scored in the third, while they've scored 51. This is where they've won most of their games. They've been pretty even in all the other quarters, but the third one, and I'm sure McGill is well aware of that as well.
Quick handoff inside. Does not pick up very much. Maybe about a yard for Chris Robin, the fullback. Robin replacing John Thielen when he had to replace Paul Coryell, a tailback. And they were very impressed with his strength. Averaging over 5 yards a carry, although does not see the ball very much. 3-yard pickup, 2nd and 7. And the Gaels just outside their 20. Over the middle for Taylor, but way past him. Falling down close to midfield now, and another punting situation for Queens.
Now, you see, that's a play where Bo Howes, when he comes back, he sees the big blitz. They got Lefebvre coming. They also have Craig Larmer coming. 2 outside linebackers. That's when you got to drill the ball there, because there's no linebackers underneath. You got to drill the ball into the seam. Can't float it up there.
So Coder will stand back near his 5-yard line, about the 7. McGill should enjoy good field position once again. They have through most of this game, although they have only 4 points to show for it. Pressure's on. They get close, but they don't get a piece. And Borgeson, the only one back at midfield, and will not go any further. It is Norbert Fulkins giving him a ride, sending him 5 yards deeper after a 35-yard punt. Defense continues to dominate in this game. McGill 4, Queens nothing. We'll be back to Kingston right after this. McGill leading Queens as David McKinnon talks it over with his offense. It's had moments of productivity, but much like Bo Howes and the Golden Gaels, ultimately stalls. They do have the points, though. They do have the lead, and they start just inside their own 50-yard line. 1st and 10. Shotgun formation for McKinnon. Steps in, fires, and is looking deep. Wanted Chad Lutke, but way over his head, about 10 yards past. It'll be 2nd down.
It's good pass protection that time for David McKinnon. One of the protectors up front is 2-time All-Canadian Samir Shaheen. Playing right guard this year, number 50, does a real good job. You know, Rod, quite a story with Samir Shaheen. Lives in Toronto now, but he's Lebanese, was born and raised in Beirut, and his family moved and emigrated to North America after his sister was killed in a clash between the Israelis and Palestinians.
More strong defense that time. Jim Aru and the Gaels have McKinnon all wrapped up. And certainly you spoke earlier, another tragic story for McGill, but certainly there have been some real difficulties for some of these McGill players to overcome.
Well, Shaheen's family, they emigrated initially to Michigan, and then they moved to Toronto, and Samir started playing football at Victoria Park Secondary School. And, you know, really, they say just a great young man here, and is one of the best football players in the nation.
Certainly is. He was a center last year, and an All-Canadian there, and then they moved him to the left side.
Right, the left side, because they had LaFontaine was there, but LaFontaine broke his leg in 7 places 2 years ago, and they thought that he didn't quite have the mobility, so they stuck him at center and put Samir Shaheen at left guard.
The punt by Bentley Harris goes short, and there is no yards on the play as Timms is late picking it up. But a 30-yard punt. That was actually James McLean picking up the football.
That was a smart play by McLean to come in there. You know that everybody's encroached upon that 5-yard area. Get in there and draw the flag, and it adds another 15. Now, the officials are talking right now because they're saying, well, if McGill was moving out of that 5-yard area, they'll wave the flag off.
We have no penalty on the play. The ball bounced back.
Yeah. But you know what I have a problem with that? Is that, and I think Bob Howes is probably saying, yeah, but if the guy who was moving out of there makes the tackle, that should still be 15 yards.
That's a good point.
Jesus. He can't buy a break today.
Okay, let's go.
I don't think he was happy with that one.
Well, he's had 2 called. That one there, they didn't get a penalty. They didn't get a penalty for intentional grounding.
1st and 10, Queens at the 33, trailing by 4, and already midway through the 3rd quarter. John Thielen up over the 35 and pulls his way for more. He'll have about 4 yards on the play. John Thielen, also from Ottawa, like Rasmussen, played at St. Pius X, one of the more prominent high schools in the Ottawa area for football.
2nd and 6.
And he was the son of Dave Thielen. Is the son of Dave Thielen, of course, a long-time running back of the Canadian Football League with the Ottawa Rough Riders and the Toronto Argonauts. Dave Thielen is here watching his son today. Howes to pass, and 2nd down, complete to Chris Gear. His 2nd catch of the day, and it's good for another Queens 1st down.
Now, that's a well-executed play. They take Matt Carlisle out in the flat. They take Chris Gear, and they turn him around inside in the hole. They get zone coverage. And Bo Howe delivers a strike here to his favorite receiver, Chris Gear. Secures the ball. Does a nice little move. Gets a big 1st down for Queens. They're starting to move the ball on offense.
Up over the 50-yard line, Gaels, a pickup of 12. Getting some production now from Gear, and they've certainly been getting it from Jonathan Taylor. Bo Howe needs his targets now. And they try the reverse to Carlisle. He'll throw. Wide open. Complete. Ryan Timms down to the 10-yard line. 1st down, Queens. A 50-yard pickup for the Gaels, and they caught McGill napping.
Well, you know, I haven't seen this play since Pee Wee football, but here it is. Jonathan Taylor gets it on the sweep, hands it to Matt Carlisle on the reverse. Everybody thinks reverse, reverse, but you got Ryan Timms way downfield, and a nice pass because he didn't try to drill it to him. He just laid it up for him. And what a huge play for the Golden Gaels. Out of Rothsay, New Brunswick, attended Simons High School.
And that's inside the 10. This is 1st and goal. And they try Taylor, and nothing doing there. That'll be a loss of a couple of yards. Tim's value normally associated with his kick returning ability, his punt returns. But certainly the biggest play of the game for Queens so far. And the first time they are essentially in scoring position.
Well, now I think you're going to see Bo Howe roll out here. Probably to his left, the wide side of the field. He is a left-handed quarterback, but it gives him options. Options whether he can run or throw.
2nd and goal from the 11-yard line. A loss of a yard and a half. And Howes will be passing. Left side. Taylor. No. Down at the 10 and no gain. And that's Scott Hamlin with the tackle.
Well, that's a great coverage by Scott Hamlin. We've talked about him a couple of times today, and he's been on Jonathan Taylor. But number 19 does a real nice job in man coverage right on the receiver. 3-step drop, semi-roll to the left, and then he drills a strike outside. It really wasn't that good of a pass in terms of how it looked, but it was effective. It was there, but Hamlin right on the job.
And for the first time today, the Golden Gaels are in field goal situation. Dan Coderre, the kicker. Coderre is good in close, which they are now, but only 7 for 17 on the year. This one just outside the 15-yard line. Up and good. Not pretty, but it gets the job done. And finally, the Golden Gaels are on the board with 4:13 to go in the 3rd quarter. Still a McGill lead, but it is now down to 1. The biggest play of this game so far was put in part by this guy, Ryan Timms, at the receiving end, as the bag of tricks really opened up for Queens.
This play had everything. They had fake trap, they had sweep, and they had double reverse, and then they give it off to Matt Carlisle, and he throws it down the field to Ryan Timms. And a real big play. Darren Samara had to come over and make the tackle, but it allowed him to get in the field goal range, and they put 3 points on the board.
And with that, Coderre kicks off down to about the 15-yard line, McGill. Chad Lutke with it, and Lutke takes it up over the 30. And so McKinnon and the Redmen will go to work again, now with just a 1-point lead.
You know, Chad Lukey is somebody that we really haven't called his name much this afternoon. He hasn't really been a part of the offense today. And he's a former O-QIFC Rookie of the Year out of Regina, Saskatchewan.
As much as anything else today,
Yes, I was.
they mull over what happened and what went wrong. As much as anything else, punting has been a story. Bentley Harris with another good one, sending Timms way back. And with the roll, it'll go inside the 15, about the 15-yard line, where he takes it and gets up over the 20. But as I was mentioning, with a game this close and low scoring, field position has been huge for McGill.
And you know what? You're allowed one kick over your head in a game. You're allowed one. You can't have two. You can't have three. I mean, that's the second one there. You can't have those. You got to play back and play the ball up. And granted, you want to catch the ball on the fly. You don't want it to bounce, but you can't have them kicking the ball over your head.
He's had punts of 50 yards, of 55, and this one with the roll, his longest of the day for Bentley Harris, 65 yards, and it has Queens hemmed back just over their 20-yard line. See what they do this time. Went the unconventional route before, but this time back to Chris Gear over the Queens 35, a first down. And Gear is starting to get some business in the second half.
And, you know, they continue to run that curl, and he's wide open. Look who has to make the tackle here. This is number 57, the outside linebacker. That's Craig Larmer. Good job by Bo Howes. Nice poise. Put the ball right in the money. And then you see Larmer coming out there to make the tackle. They have that play anytime they want it.
Up to the 37. For the Queens Golden Gaels, led by Bo Howes. For Jonathan Taylor, he's got it. Complete up to the 44 and driven down there. About 2 yards shy of a first down.
You know, that's a nice job by Jonathan Taylor. When he catches the ball here, his hand position is exceptional. You know, a lot of receivers sometimes will drop that right hand and have it underneath. He puts that hand on top, and that's what they call the dominant position in catching the ball. You have thumbs together so you secure the reception, as opposed to having your baby finger together and the ball goes through.
Taylor has 8 catches now for 101 yards. Very productive day, but they're still trailing. There's a fumble, another turnover perhaps. As it looks like the Gaels did get the ball back, John Thielen coughed it up. Already they have given up the ball twice on fumbles.
And they got the first down on top of that, so they coughed a break there. Again, they run off tackle. They had a bit of a problem with the exchange. Just carrying the ball in the right hand, just didn't secure it away enough. Doesn't even look like he was knocked out of there, but if anybody hit it, it was Darren Sumera.
Looked like he did punch the ball out. And gets the first down because they managed to recover it. Pressure on Howes rolling out. Complete to Gear again. Just gets the feet down. Nicely done for another Queens first down. Their third straight on this drive, and they're now in McGill territory.
This is what makes defensive coordinators go bonkers. They have Stefan Gallavois. All he has to do is contain here because they get the backside blitz coming, and he loses contain. Howes gets outside and delivers a beautiful strikeout here. Outside shoulder of Chris Gear, and what a nice job by keeping his feet in bounds and knowing where he is.
Despite trailing the game 4-3, they lead in first downs 13-4. Much more productive offense now, but they need the points. And they go back, and it's no good. Intended for Ryan Timms on the right side. Ball's incomplete.
Good defense by Cicanetta, getting that right hand in there to knock the ball away without interfering with the receiver. Howes delivers another strike, just a little bit late here, but Cicanetta, see the hand gets inside there, knocks it away. That's great defense. Nice drive they have going now, starting their own 21.
And all the way to the McGill 45, 2nd and 10. With no time left in the clock in the third, Howes evades the pressure and throws it incomplete. So three-quarter time will come, and it'll still be a McGill Redmen lead, although down to 1 point. Only 7 points total in this game. Well, let's head back to Gino Retta and this Sports Desk Update. After 3 quarters of play, the McGill Redmen lead the Queens Golden Gaels by 1 point. Only 7 scored in a game that continues to be thoroughly dominated by defensive play. The biggest difference now, the most telling, I suppose, if you look at the difference in passing and in first downs for Queens.
You can see their passing game really is starting to get on track right now. Third quarter was a big quarter for Queens. Close to 200 yards passing now. The turnovers were only in the first half, and that really affected them, but now they're starting to get their offense moving.
Time of possession pretty close in this one, but Bob House has reason to be concerned because all that productivity hasn't really amounted to much on the scoreboard. They have got a field goal out of it. The situation in a 1st and goal where they could have had more. Trailing it 4-3. Borgeson takes this Dan Coderre punt and tries to work it out to his 10. He does, and up over the 15 and still more. 36-yard punt, and he takes it out to the 22-yard line where the Redmen will scrimmage again, this time a little deeper in their own territory. They usually enjoyed midfield possession most of the time.
Now, this is a real big defensive stand for Queens right now. They have to force McGill into a punting situation and hope that Bentley Harris does not get off another one of his rockets, his 60-yarders, so they can have good field position to try and get in field goal position or perhaps score a touchdown.
The breeze is coming slightly from the northeast, meaning McGill had it the last quarter. If Harris is punting, this time he will be into a slight breeze that might slow down that momentum he's had going. He's just had a brilliant day punting the football. They run it straight up the gut, and that's the big man, Dan Cronick. Takes it up to the 25. It'll be about 2nd and 7 for McGill. Winner of this game goes to the O-QIFC championship. It's interesting, though, that this conference has had the longest drought of the 80s and 90s, really, when it comes to even being represented in the Vanier Cup. The last to be there was Queens in 92. They won it. And before that, it was McGill in 87. They also won it. Then you got to go back to Queens in 83 and then Ottawa U in 1980. So the O-Q hasn't had much success winning the semifinal games and getting to the Vanier Cup. Not much success there on the ground for Borgeson. And with a flag on the play, it'll be a 3rd down McGill, pending the outcome of this.
Now there's going to be a holding penalty against McGill or illegal use of hands. I'm sure that Queens will decline this and force McGill into a punting situation.
That's declined.
Dan Cronick, the lead back, the fullback here, they're running off tackle. You see he gets that left arm around, and once you get that left arm around, they're going to call you for holding every time. You got to keep that hand in. Once it wraps around the body, that flag's going to come out of the official's pocket.
So going against a slight breeze, it will be interesting to see what kind of punt Bentley Harris gets away this time.
And Queens have 2 people back to field this one.
And they are anticipating a slightly shorter kick, and it is much shorter. With a bounce, though, that gets past Timms again, taking it at his 40. And taking a pop over the 45 by Dan Cronick, who's noted as one of the finer special teams players on McGill. 42-yard punt, though, and that's still not bad, above the average of Bentley Harris during the season.
Queens caught a bit of a break there because they always say coaches want you to field the ball in the air because it usually adds, on average, about 15 yards to the punt if you let it bounce.
Bob House talking of maybe doing something else in a few years' time. He hasn't made a real commitment as to how many more years he will coach. Took over as the interim basis in 1995. And no yardage once again.
I was surprised. Sorry, Rod. I was surprised at how candid he was with us yesterday about that. He said, "I think maybe when Bo was through his career playing football, maybe I'll find something else to do and maybe head back out west."
Had all those years in Edmonton, of course, with the Eskimos, and one of the most dominant teams, maybe the most dominant team dynasty in CFL history. Great Edmonton teams that won Grey Cups from 78 to 82. House was on 4 of those and won another one in 1975. His son Bo going to work again, passing again, looking for Gear. It's by him and off the fingertips of Scott Hanlon. Ball's incomplete down at the McGill 35, and Gear is still down, looks to be hurt.
In Ottawa with 2 minutes.
And that seemed to be a mix-up on the play because they had Jason Wimmer and Chris Gaels really in the same area, and the ball was overthrown. Let's just hope that he's winded here. It would be a huge loss for Queens if Chris Gear has to leave this football game.
Warriors 14 and York, no score.
4th in receiving in the nation in 1996. 6th this year, model of consistency. See, he takes the big hit there from Malo Sicanetta. That's just the wind being knocked out of you. Right there, boom.
The Queens will punt again on 3rd down and 11. Coder back at his 30. This time the breeze to his back. And McGill setting up the return with 2 back. And a nice punt. A very nice punt. Coder's best of the day, driving Borgeson back to his 15. Turns it back up and gets to the 25. But that's something the Gaels certainly needed to drive McGill back. 11:42 left to go in the 4th quarter, and it's still McGill leading by just a point. Other CIAU playoff action today in the OUAA. All 4 of these teams ranked in the top 10 in the country, but of course only 2 can move on to the H Cup. It is Western apparently moving on 25-8 over Guelph in the 4th quarter in London, and also Waterloo in a Waterloo type of game. Great defense, 14-0 over York. At one point, Guelph, Western, and Waterloo were all ranked number 1 in the country this year.
What do you think about Guelph? 3 weeks ago, they were ranked number 1. They were undefeated. They've lost 3. They will. If they lose today, lost 3 in a row.
And look to be making an exit after winning the OUAA last year. Here's McGill on 1st down, and the toss to Craig Borgeson. Finds his way outside, picks up some pretty good yardage, about 8 of them, to set up 2nd and short at the 33-yard line for number 33.
You know, Borgeson has such great instincts because this play looks like it's going inside, and he helps it set up the blocking. Gets that side, dips his shoulder inside. They run a toss. They pull Andrew Castellara in the right guard. Now he sets it up here, goes inside. Now he bounces it outside. All good running backs have great vision. And you know what, Rod, I think, you know, he's got better speed than that, and I think having that groin injury and being off for a couple of weeks has really had an effect on him. 2nd and short. The toss once again to Borgeson. Picks up the 1st down, not much more, but is over the 35. The drive will continue for McGill. And now the clock becomes a factor. 10:42. It's getting late. And it's also getting late in Ottawa, where the Ottawa UGGs are leading Concordia 25-20 with 90 seconds to go in that one. A minute and a half at Frank Clair Stadium. The winner of that one plays the winner here. 10:42 to go and a 1-point game. And the idea of overtime, perhaps, Jamie, could loom, with only a single point separating these 2. There's Borgeson again, having a busy drive. 3rd straight carry, and up and over the 40-yard line he goes. But a gain of 4, 2nd and 6 for McGill. Joe Marshallton, the offensive coordinator for McGill, would be more than happy for McGill to continue to drive the ball this way. It accomplishes one. They hold on to the football, the running game, and it eats up lots of time on the clock.
Down to 10 minutes even to go in what could be this football game. McGill trying to rack up more, and they do. Lucchetta takes it, is still on his feet. Andrew Lucchetta. And another Redmen 1st down. They're getting up near midfield.
It's a nice job. This 3-step drop, and Andy Lucchetta goes down 5 yards, 6 yards, turns around, has enough for the 1st down, and McKinnon's got a very strong arm. This ball's thrown all the way across the field here in a line. Lucchetta, nice job, keeps his feet moving.
Another 1st and 10 for McGill. This is a great drive for the Redmen. Inside for Lucchetta. And another 1st down, or very close to it. His progress took him down to the 48-yard line. We'll see where they spot this one as he was tackled a little further along. If you like football, we got the NFL back on TSN. Sunday night football. Detroit and Green Bay. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Bobby Ross's Lions against the defending champs, Mike Holmgren's Packers. The measurement very close to the 4th straight 1st down for McGill. That's what it would be. Just inches shy.
second and inches for McGill. In London, the Mustangs are pulling away.
This is when you run play action pass and you try and hit the big one right here. You're going to go for it on third down anyway.
They started at their own 25-yard line. And they've been moving in a real hurry.
Now, if McKinnon is smart, he should let time tick off the clock here. Oh, he lined up behind the guard. Now he can slide over to the center.
Keep it on the ground. And at first look, looked like Borgeson could be taken down behind the line, but he did edge his way along and got the first down. McGill is moving the football better now than they have at any point during this game, and it is timely.
And not only are they moving it well, but they're mixing it up. They're running the ball effectively with Borgeson in there now, completing some short passes to Andy Laquetta.
Borgeson on the toss again and more room. Craig Borgeson inside the 25 and another Redmen first down. What a quarter he's been having.
Well, he wasn't playing much in the first half, and he only played sparingly in the third. So it didn't look like he had a groin injury there at all. This is a nice job. He's just waiting. Now he sees the hole. See him burst. He puts it into that other gear. Nice job to pick his feet up. Boy, he has all sorts of McGill or Queens defenders turning around. Nice job by Craig Borgeson.
McGill is in scoring position again. How nice a touchdown would look in a game that has had no majors so far, and not much doing for Dan Cronick, trying the right side and losing a bit of yardage there. But a loss of 2 to make it 2nd and 12. 7:55 and counting. The clock continues to tick down here at Richardson Stadium.
Queens now go to their nickel package. They bring in Andrew Tuesley, and they take out a linebacker. So expecting McGill to throw the football here.
Tuesley playing sparingly, but leads the country in interceptions with 6. 2nd and 11 from the 23. They run it. Borgeson again. Nothing doing inside. And Jim Maru has got them all wrapped up at the 21-yard line.
You want to talk about how important this drive is. If they kick the field goal here and they get it, and Hoganrod hits the field goal, Queens have to score a touchdown, possibly to take the lead. They have to score a touchdown to take the lead in a game where there has been no touchdowns. Nice defense by Queens. Borgeson slippery and pretty good vision, but Jim Maru wraps him up, forces McGill to attempt the field goal. Now let's think about this. Queens have blocked 4 kicks this year, and the guy who's blocked all 4 is number 27, Matt Rennie.
And he stands
at the top of your screen.
No shot there, and Hoganrod easily has the distance and has the field goal. His 2nd and 2 attempts, and this one is huge because it once again opens up a 4-point lead. McGill getting closer to moving on to the O-QIFC championship game. We got 6:53 to go in the 4th quarter.
Yeah,
The scoring by quarter in this game, and you can see how sparse it has been. 3 field goals and a single. And for both teams, cumulatively, just 10 points. And a 7-3 lead by McGill after that field goal by Hoganrod, giving the Redmen the lead with 6:46 to go here in this 4th quarter. The pass is completed up over the 45-yard line to about the 47 for Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor's been the big story for Queens in offense this afternoon. You would have thought Chris Gear would be the big guy, but Jonathan Taylor's coming with some big catches here. Nice job of holding on to the ball. It almost slipped away. Good recognition by Bo Howes to see the seam and get the ball to him instantly.
He has 9 catches for 113 yards now. And they'll need him again. And then some. Howes throws again, nearly picked off by Craig Larmer. And how big a turnover would that have been? As it stands, however, it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Gaels.
Now, Craig Larmer's been all over the field this afternoon, especially in pass coverage. He's had to make a lot of tackles downfield on Chris Gear. There he is again, real deep. Comes across just out of the outstretched arms of Larmer, out of Markham High School.
The The numbers in Bo House, not bad. Has not thrown an interception yet, but has not thrown a TD either. None have been scored in this 7-3 game. Pass is complete. Near the McGill 45 to Chris Gear. And reason to cheer here in Kingston with 5:51 to go.
And that's a real nice pass by Bo House, low and inside. No one's got a chance on it except the receiver. Chris Gear, they've had that pass all day long, that little curl route that they run inside.
To the 46-yard line. A game, as you mentioned, Jamie, where a touchdown lead would seem insurmountable. As it stands, it's 4 points that Queens has to erase on the screen to Thielen, way in behind the line of scrimmage, and barely makes it back to the 46-yard line.
You know, Thielen got hung up inside by Martin Deneau, number 71, and he couldn't release when the offensive line released, and Deneau was right there. That's one thing about the screen, boy. You got to be a good actor. Watch Thielen, number 25, in the middle of your screen. The play action pass to him. Now he gets caught in there with 71 comes across, and he's way too deep.
It comes in the family, in the Thielen family. There's his dad, Dave Thielen. Played with the Ottawa Rough Riders, a great running back, and later played with the Toronto Argonauts as well. This is back in the 60s. And an older Thielen brother, Dave Thielen Jr., a very good high school running back, and went down and played U.S. college ball. There's an attempt for Taylor, and it is knocked down nicely by the Redmen. Number 25, Bumolo Sikanita.
It's a nice job. They had Chris Gear doing the post. Looked like he had position, but Pamela Sikanita goes way up high and gets that right hand in there and knocks it away. That's just excellent defense. Pamela Sikanita, also quite a track star at McGill. His event is a 600 meters, was a bronze medalist 2 years ago.
Punting situation for Queens, 4:43 on the clock. Godair gets it away just the Queens side of midfield. Borgeson running under it and gets it out to the 20-yard line, McGill.
Well, that's a nice job by Borgeson, you know, making sure the ball does not bounce in front of him and maybe take that weird bounce and go into the end zone.
A 32-yard punt and a 3-yard return.
He's had a great fourth quarter.
That Queens defense has been strong all game, allowing only 7 points, and yet, if ever their strength was needed, it would be now. Clock continuing to tick at 4:26. McGill, the last time out, had a wonderful drive and ate up a huge chunk of the clock. Keep it on the ground this time. Flags on the play, and Craig Borgeson, the ball carrier. That last drive ate up 4:49. And with 4:11 to go, you can see how significant another McGill drive would be. They will be driven back by a penalty, however.
82. To holding. 82. Down repeated.
10 yards further back.
Rob Posthumous, the wide receiver. Actually, McGill's leading receiver this season. I don't believe he has a catch this afternoon.
No, he doesn't. McGill has found some success running the football. Craig Borgeson, those tosses outside, gained a lot of yardage in that last drive. He will pass here, however. McKinnon stands in. A little bit of pressure. Another flag in the play. Still running around. Gets a block, gets outside. Lutke picks up a man, and he's over the 15-yard line.
Drops down at 15, the flag on the play.
And once again, it'll be against the Redmen, possibly to drive them further back.
Hey, Charlie Bailey told us he had quick feet, but I'll tell you what, he was a magician back there. I don't know how he escaped that rush.
Of an offside, 82, decline, second down.
First it was holding for Posthumous. This time it is the offside, but they decline it, so it'll be 2nd and 15 for the Redmen at their 15-yard line.
No, they have Posthumous lined up at the slot, and he's trying to run and time the snap, and he just get caught offside.
They've got 2nd and 14. The Redmen are deep. nursing a 4-point lead. McKinnon. It goes off Cronic's hands. And that was dangerous for McGill, but it does fall incomplete, fortunately for the Redmen. And they'll be punting.
Well, I'm not sure if he was trying to throw that to Cronic or Steve McKellar, number one. McKellar looked like he had gone down and run a short little hook route. And he was looking right at him, and then Cronic came across and did not catch the ball, knocked it away, and luckily it wasn't picked off.
The Golden Gaels defense has done its job once again. With 3:16 to go. The clock continuing to work its way down. And Bentley Harris punting from the deepest spot he has had in this game. He is on McGill's goal line to get it away. Into the breeze, and this one is not as good. It rolls nicely, though, out over the McGill 50. But the Gaels will have great field position to start with. Around the 46-yard line as Ryan Timms takes it after the 35-yard punt by Bentley. Gaels need yardage soon, though. We're under 3 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter in Kingston. With 2:56 to go and an offense yet to find the end zone, the Queens Golden Gaels season is starting to hang by a string. They're at the McGill 47-yard line, trailing 7-3. And the winner of this game, should McGill hang on, they would face the Ottawa UGGs for the second straight year. The GGs advanced over Concordia 25-20 earlier today at Frank Clair Stadium in Ottawa. GGs back in the O-Q final. Sideline pass for Taylor. Across the 45, the 35. Flags on the play. It would be a first down for the Gaels, but could it be holding?
Jonathan Taylor, the ball carrier. Flag on the play. Holding against the Gaels.
It is against Queens.
Hey, see, I think the call here might be that there was blocking taking place before the ball was caught, because it was not a lateral. It was a downfield pass.
What number was it? An illegal use of hands, number 30, after yards made. After yards made, 1st and 10.
It's not. It was after the yardage was made.
First down for the Gaels.
So in essence, Queens picks up about a yard out of the deal, and they stand right at the 45-yard line of McGill. With 2:43 to go now in the fourth quarter. Down by 4 points. Howe puts it up for Gear. He's got it. Is he in bounds? Yes. Another huge play for the Gaels, and they're down to the McGill 16-yard line.
And a great catch, but an even more spectacular throw, because Bo Howe threw the ball up nice and high, and he allowed the ball to drop right over Kamala Sickanetta's head. This is excellent coverage, but the ball falls right out of the sky. Look how high it comes down here. Sickanetta has no shot at catching that ball. And look at that. That right foot is in. Great play. A beautiful pass by Bo Howe. So you take a young quarterback and you try and teach him, you say, throw the ball up high, get air underneath it. The defender can be right on the receiver, but if the ball falls high out of the sky, it's tough for the defender to make a play. If the ball is thrown a low trajectory, the defender just has to stick his hand in front and knock it away.
6 catches for 113 yards for Chris Gear, but those yards, the most valuable yards so far for him in this game.
And great concentration. I mean, Pumala Sickanetta's fingers are about 4 inches away from the ball. And for Chris Gear to keep his wits about him and make that big catch and keep that right foot in bounds, truly remarkable.
They've moved the ball. They've completed the passes. They've had a good passing offense today, but they haven't found the end zone. Only 3 points to show for it, and they need more. Howes is going to take off, and he's got some yardage. He gets down at about the McGill 10-yard line. They're definitely in field goal range, but with 2:31 to go, they'd prefer 6.
It'll be interesting right here. If they don't make it here, what they will do, I think you got to take the field goal and close to within 1.
And how big is the opening or the kickoff to start the second half when Hogenrod puts it into the end zone and McGill gets a single? Huge. That would be the margin if Queens could only come up with 3. 2nd and 5. Big play. Touchdown, Queens.
Chris Gear gets it, and for the first time this game, the Gaels have the lead.
When it's crunch time, who are you going to go to? You're going to go to your best receiver. And that has been Chris Gear the last 2 years. He makes a great move on Pamela Cicanetta in man coverage. Cicanetta slips, and Chris Gear wide open in the end zone for 6.
Mom and Dad, number 1, we're playing next week, baby.
This is a big convert.
This would make the difference. 3 points. And it does. Coder gets the convert, and it is 10-7 Queens. 11-yard touchdown, I should say, for Chris Gear.
And with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left, there's more than enough time for McGill to come back. But we saw Hoganrod hit one earlier from 39 yards. Nice job by Bo House. Great drop back pass, good pocket, 3-step drop. Boom, the quick in, and you see Cicanetta on the ground.
Yes, Queens offense found a gear, and they found it at the right time. Trailing the entire game, and now leading by 3 points. For Charlie Bailey, who has seen several heartbreaking losses to Queens over the years, this is 26th season. Must be wondering if he is seeing another one now. Coder's kickoff taken down by Borgeson across the 15. He's got some room up the middle, but a flag on the play. He's still going. Flag down. He's across the McGill 50-yard line, but it should be coming back. 1:56 to go.
Yeah, that'll hold it.
Great job, baby. Great job.
The drive for Queens. 5 plays, 47 yards, and in only 48 seconds. Of course, the big play before to Chris Gear helped set it up, and a beautiful pass by Bo House.
And this just kills McGill, this penalty.
Number 45, 10 yards from the foul.
It's not a big crowd today at Richardson Stadium, but they are starting to make more noise now than we've certainly heard, and Chris Gear is going to make a little noise himself.
Come on, Dean.
Gear in his 5th and final year. Came to the team the year after they won the Vanier Cup. Would love to get back to it. Pass falling incomplete from McKinnon to Lucetta. Matt Rennie on the coverage. It'll be 2nd down and 10, and you can sense that McGill offense somewhat deflated now.
And you know, Rod, I was going to say that, there's more than enough time. There's 1:56 in the clock. You don't have to go into a pass offense right away. You've got to move the ball 50 yards. You've got more than enough time to get into field goal range. But now this puts it behind the 8 ball because it's 2nd down and 10. What do you think that Queens defensive line is going to do? They're going to come off that ball, sniffing blood.
Redmen send 3 left, and McKinnon is looking right. Nearly intercepted. Intended for Lucetta, and it falls incomplete. And we've got a 3rd down. With 1:48 on the clock.
Yeah, Charlie Bailey's doing the right thing here. You have to punt the ball away. You got to give yourself a chance to tie it up. You got to hope your defense can hold. They still have their 2 timeouts available to them.
Well, Bentley Harris has had a big day, although most of it kicking the other way with the wind. Had one as high as 65 yards. Hasn't kicked badly against the wind, but kicking from his own 7-yard line. You can't expect him to do too much here. The best might be getting it out to midfield or to the Queens 50-yard line. The Gaels are going to have great position. But this is a nice punt. Timms is driven back to his 45, to his 50. And carries on until driven back at about the 52-yard line. A 41-yard punt against the wind for Bentley Harris.
Well, that was a nice job by Bailey Harris. Now, McGill's hoping that they can hold Queens in 2 plays because Dan Cordero has not punted the ball exceptionally well today. He only comes into this game with a 32-yard average. So, depending on what happens, they can start their next drive if they stop them here, maybe from the 25 or 30-yard line. But they've got to stop them here. They cannot allow a first down.
2 years ago, the GGs went to the Ontario-Quebec final and lost and beat the Queens Golden Gaels, pardon me. Queens went there and lost to Ottawa U 8-3, looking to get back and play the GGs. That's who won the other semi-final game. This is John Thielen with the ball out near midfield. Short gain. They keep it along the ground. A little conservative with 1:32 to go and a 3-point lead.
And to see, well, that's what you got to do, I think. You got to keep the ball on the ground and force McGill to use their timeouts. But you see what Thielen did there? It looked like he wanted to bounce it outside. But, you know, he started to think, he thought, hey, the last thing I can do right now is go out of bounds. If I go out of bounds, that kills us. Did the wise thing, turned it upfield and forces McGill to blow one of their timeouts.
The bread and butter of the Queens offense over the years, certainly the last 3 or 4 decades, was always running the football. Very few teams they had were that adept at passing the ball, but this year, you talked about it earlier, maybe the injury to Paul Coryell forced them into a different sort of offense, and they have thrown the ball a lot better. Bo Howes, second leading passer in terms of yardage in the country, and it was the pass that got them back into this game.
But what they lacked this year when Coryell went down was a breakaway runner. I mean, Thielen did a real nice job, but his longest run of the year was 29 yards.
273 yards. That's what Bo Howes has racked up today. At over 1,600. Second only to Guelph's Nathan Body during the regular season. And they keep it along the ground. And it'll be a 3rd down. McGill was already forced to use a timeout. That was Chris Robin, the ball carrier that time.
Yeah, aim it up to the sidelines if you can.
It'll be interesting now. You hear Bob Howe say, aim it towards the sidelines. The last guy he wants touching this ball right now is Craig Borgeson.
No, they've already used it up Good work, guys.
Now, interesting philosophy here for Charlie Bailey. Do you decide to go with the return, or do you try to go for the block? I think they're going to go with a return here.
They've been close a couple of times.
But there's a danger in that, because if you miss it, right, but if you miss it and you touch the kicker, the game's over.
Right. You see the difference in average. Coder averaging 35-3 and Harris 41. Well, Harris, as mentioned before, did get some really big ones off when he hit the wind of his back. That's pretty good day punting for Coder as well, above his average. They would like a nice booming one now, to be sure. They tried the block and they got close, but did not get it. And even though it is picked up here by Borgeson, it doesn't look like it is going to be much of a return from McGill. He's still trying to find his way out. They've got him all strung up and knocked down inside the McGill 10-yard line after a 37-yard punt, and with 1:13 to go. What a task laying ahead for McGill's offense now.
It's a huge task. Now they've got to go into the gun and throw the football. You know, if they could have gotten that ball on the fly, would have given them pretty good field position and given David McKinnon a little bit more to work with.
It's like a Waterloo Western Yates Cup. The Warriors shutting out York today 17-0. The championship to be played next Saturday. And also the O-Q final between Ottawa U and Queens or McGill. McGill would like to still have a stake in that as Lucetta takes it out near first down yardage across the McGill 20-yard line.
And you know, they still have plenty of time. They just got to get up underneath the ball. It's going to take some time to move the sticks. The clock stops until the sticks get set. But they got to be ready to go right away when the referee blows it in.
A realistic yardage goal for McGill for a field goal would be about the 33 of Queens. Lucetta again and out of bounds to stop the clock at the 29-yard line. But he hit one earlier from 39, so they were scrimmaging at the 32-yard line of Queens, and it was into that direction, slightly against the wind.
And so far, it's been very good clock management by McGill. Lucetta getting out of bounds. It's second down and 3.
58.3 seconds on the scoreboard clock to go in the fourth quarter. McGill, at this point, I'm sure, just thinking field goal to force overtime. McKinnon, Lucetta again, moving
35.
And that's okay because the clock stops because it's a first down, and plus there's an injury now on the field.
An injured Redmen. Rolling over now.
It's Jason Nathan, left tackle.
With chants of "Let's Go D" in the background. That's what the defenses have been doing all game. Jay Nathan from Welland, Ontario.
An all-star last year. 1996. Real tough situation, too, for a replacement to have to come in. You know, you're cold, you're playing left tackle. That's the quarterback's blind side. You've got good pass rushers in Carl Rasmussen and Jim Aru. Swap sides.
For Charlie Bailey, seems hard to talk about it now because, hey, we're all getting a bit older. It has been 10 years, really, since his crowning achievement as a head coach of the McGill Redmen. National championship, and they dominated the UBC Thunderbirds at Chile Varsity Stadium 2 years before they moved it into Skydo. And Nathan getting off under his own steam, appears to be okay.
At the bottom of your screen, the left tackle, number 66, tries to cut Rasmussen, and he got hurt on the play.
Clock is running down, 41 seconds and counting. Big pressure on McGill now. It's a first down. McKinnon, they need about 40 more yards. It's knocked down. Carl Rasmussen knocks it down, and it'll be 2nd and 10 with 34 seconds to go.
Well, they try to fake that slip screen to Luqueta. Luqueta kind of went out there about 3 yards downfield, and then he jumped high in the air to make it look like he was going up for the ball while McKinnon, the quarterback, still had it. They're trying to get Rob Potchimus doing the streak, but Queens didn't bite. Queens weren't buying any of it.
Ball sitting at the McGill 36-yard line. To have any realistic shot, it's got to be at the Queens 35 or in. Need yards, need them now. 33 seconds and count it. For Potchimus, way out of bounds at midfield. And this will set up a 3rd down and the season for the McGill Redmen.
And you know what? He did have Potchimus. You know, go back to Charlie Bailey. When Andy Luqueta was playing quarterback here in 1994, they were on their own 4-yard line or whatever. No time left. There were only 10, 12 seconds left in the game, and Andy Luqueta dropped back and threw a ball off the grabs. Jason Sedillis came down with it, broke a couple of tackles, and made it all the way and scored and beat Concordia in the O-QIFC semifinal.
For a trip to the conference championship, everything is on the line now with a flag down. McKinnon rolling right. Aru is in pursuit. He dumps it off for Pronick. Nearly picked up. Depending on the flag, that could be it for McGill. With 21 seconds left. The Redmen are indicating it's against Queens, which would breathe a little bit more life in McGill. An offside call to make it 3rd down and 5.
Have an offside. Queens, 3rd down repeated.
They need one completion here for 20 yards to give them a shot.
They would have a shot at that. A stay of execution. The season on the line. Luqueta. And that is it. He does not have the first down. The Gaels are going to take over on downs with 16 seconds to go. Queens should be moving on to the conference final. And the congratulation already starting now on the Golden Gale sideline. Embraces for defensive coordinator Bob Mullen, whose D was once again stellar.
They're trying just to get the first down here. They got to the well once too often on this one. Luqueta coming inside. Well defensed by Queens. Actually, it's his own man, Samar Shaheen, that he runs into, the left guard going down there to try to throw a block and stops him short of the first down.
Bob House can breathe a sigh of relief as they take no chances. Bo down on a knee. 13 seconds now, killing off 3. Bob House is a head coach, as mentioned 2 years ago, got to the conference final, but they lost it. A close and difficult day. It was tough weather and a tough GG team that won the O-QIFC and went on to lose to Calgary in the Churchill Bowl that year. Now House has the advantage of home field, having beat the GGs last week. As long as Bob Howe's Gaels can keep winning, they will have home field up until the Vanier Cup. You don't want to think that far ahead. In fact, this game is not over yet. Stranger things have happened, but obviously the look of pleasure there balanced with the dejection in the red and white sideline. And for most of the day, this was McGill's game. Defensively, special teams, turnovers. They had been the better team. Queens got it together.
No. He just has to let it run.
In the fourth quarter, late in that quarter, and have the margin of victory now. One more time to kneel, and no time left on the clock. The Golden Gaels advance. The Redmen go home. It's over. Join the players in celebration. They'll get to see them here at Richardson Stadium next week against Ottawa U.
Next Saturday afternoon, the O-QIFC Championship game. The Gaels against the Ottawa GGs. Kickoff time 12:30 next Saturday. Tickets for the game will go on sale Tuesday at 10 o'clock at the Queens Fitness Center.
What might have been for McGill. An excellent defensive performance, but not enough. Queens wins it. We'll be back with more here at Richardson Stadium right after this. The handshakes continue in the field at Richardson Stadium. The Queens Golden Gaels are moving on to the O-QIFC final, and they'll get to host Ottawa U next week after coming from behind and beating the McGill Redmen this afternoon 10-7. And where defense dominated, you still have to consider an offensive player for the player of the game. Bo House, the quarterback for the Gaels, and that drive, the winning drive here, finds Chris Gear in the end zone and had a beautiful pass just before that to set up the touchdown. Bo House. And I'm sure he made his father happy today. Bob House much relieved after a difficult game, and Bo joins us now. Bo, congratulations. That was certainly not what you'd consider an offensively dominated game. Just tell me about that drive in the end that sealed the victory for Queens.
Well, basically we're all on the sideline offensively. We knew it was only a matter of time, just like it happened all this year, that we'd finally break through and score one. Unfortunately, it was a little late. Well, not unfortunately, it was sort of dramatic fashion, but we finally got a couple plays put together, and fortunately we scored.
Well, tell me, what was it like at halftime? Were you guys frustrated in offense because you just seemed to be shooting yourselves in the foot? You were making some good catches, but you were turning over the football, and it seemed to be that you guys were frustrated in offense.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, our offensive game plan was working, and we were just making some mental mistakes with fumbles and a couple drop balls and a couple bad reads as well. So we sort of knew that it'd be tough to run against these guys. They have a very strong front seven. So we knew we had to pass coming in, and fortunately we executed with a little bit of time left, just enough to win the game.
Well, tell me about your offensive scheme this year. Queens is primarily known as a running team in the past, but it seems like Steve Jovetic has changed the offense quite a bit. You're the big part of it. You're the second leading passer in the nation this year. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that has a lot to do with the personnel we have this year. We had two returning second-team All-Canadians with John Taylor and Matt Carlisle, as well as Chris Gear, who's been also our last couple of years. And unfortunately, Paul Coryell, which was a huge part of our offense the past couple of years, went down early this year. And so that just put a little more onus on our passing game. So I guess it worked out that way, but at the expense of Paul.
So off to face the Ottawa U-GGs next week, and congratulations on an exciting finish, Bo, and a good game for you and the Gaels.
Thanks, Rod and Jamie. Can I say hi to my mom in Edmonton?
I think you just did.
All right.
Bo House, player of the game, and GM Canada contributes $500 to the Queens football program on behalf of Bo House, the Cavalier player of the game, a game Queens won, but it was so close, 10-7 the final. We'll be back with more right after this.
CIAU football on TSN, brought to you by Cavalier, tried, tested, and true. And by Royal Bank Financial Group, taking care of financial needs one customer at a time.
Little chance to chat and celebrate for some Queens fans, but not for the McGill Redmen. They led most of this game, but they wind up losing it. And no trip back for the Redmen to the O-Q final. That'll be Queens hosting the Ottawa U-GGs next week. Coming up on TSN, as they give praise to Jim Maru, we got extreme bloopers. Maybe we'll see a few with those wigs on up next here on the Sports Network. Gaels move on that play there. They find the higher gear in the form of Chris Gear off to the conference championship for Bob House and company. For Jamie Bone, I'm Rod Smith from all of us here in Kingston. Thanks for watching. So long, everybody.